family. Everyone is in the library. May I take your coats, please?
Thank you.
How's Wilhelmina?
She doesn't look good.
Sorry. You know the McMillans.
How do you do? Nice to meet you.
Is my sister here yet?
No, she phoned from the bus depot. The rain's delayed her. She'll be here as soon as she can make it.
Roger, aren't you going to introduce me?
Oh, Sandy Adams, my secretary. My Aunt Mildred.
How do you do?
Hello.
Mr. and Mrs.
McMillan.
It's a pleasure.
Hello. Excuse me.
Oh, Dr. Herpes, how is she?
Oh, Wilhelmina would like to see all of you.
Is it the end?
Done all I can do.
Where's Halstead?
He's with her.
Doctor, you've done all you could do.
Yes, I've said that.
Sandy, will you go home?
Willie. My dear Willie.
Mildred, dear Mildred. Don't cry, dear. I'm not afraid of the Grim Reaper. Where's Agatha?
She's coming, Wilhelmina. She'll be here soon.
Oh, Willie.
Shut up, Miguel. Where's my little Jenny?
I sent a telegram, Wilhelmina, but she hasn't arrived as yet.
I want her here with me. I refuse to die until she comes.
You can't mean that.
I can and I do. Now go away, go away.
I say, McMillan, can you give me a lift down to the marina?
Sure.
My secretary has my car. I live on my boat. Oh.
Agatha, it's all right. Stop it now. It's me, Mildred.
I just can't believe I've been standing on the front of me and it's not anybody.
Agatha, it's all right.
She's probably in there, probably dead and everything.
No, she rallied, darling. She's alive. It's okay.
Alive? Rallied?
Right.
Can I get you anything, madam?
Bourbon and twist. Straight up.
What do you want?
Wants to know what we want? $341,000.53. That's what we want.
I told you I'd get it to you and I'd get out of here.
Told us that months ago, and weeks ago, and days ago. Your credibility suffered an irreparable harm, as will your face if you don't cough up the money.
Look, you guys have been terrific. I know that, but there's nothing I can do. Now, my aunt's on her deathbed. As soon as she goes, I get $1 million. You guys get paid.
We'll take the boat on account.
I live here. Come on, will you? It's only a matter of days until she dies.
Make it a matter of hours. If she's not dead before morning, you will be. Ernest?
Madam, time for medication. Madam? Mr. Halstead? She's gone. During the night, sir. I thought you'd want to notify the family. Yes, sir. I'll call him now.
Sally, I'm home.
Yeah, we're in the kitchen.
Oh, great. I'm starved. What's...
We're relining the shelves.
Spring cleaning, Commissioner.
It's January.
Well, I don't like to let things back up on me.
You mean like dinner?
We ordered out. It ought to be here any minute.
Oh, hand me that roll of shelving paper down there, will you?
There's a letter here for you, Mildred. It's registered.
Yeah, I know.
Been trying to get her to open it all day.
You know what this is?
How could she? She won't open it.
It's from a law firm. Aren't you curious?
No, if I'm going to be sued, I don't want to know about it.
Good boy.
Mac!
It's her letter.
Well, it could be good news, you know.
Well, if it's good news, it can wait. If it's bad news, it can certainly wait.
Mildred, open the letter.
Hey, what about this? I'm in Aunt Wilhelmina's will.
That means you're gonna be rich.
Yeah.
You could be.
You think?
Yeah.
How many diamonds can you wear at once without being gauche?
One. Okay. Hello? Yes? Yes, she is. Just, who'd you say? Yes, just a moment. Mildred's for you. It's your niece, Jenny.
Oh, Jenny! Hi, darling. How are you? Where are you? Everybody's been wondering. You're in Aunt Wilhelmina's will? Me too. You're kidding. You're here in San Francisco? And you've got no place... Listen, she's here in San Francisco and she's got no place to stay.
Oh, tell her to stay here with us.
Oh, great. Listen, darling, come right on over. Yeah, you can use the extra bed. I can't wait to see you. Okay, bye. She's coming right over.
We don't have an extra bed.
Yeah, we do, if I sleep on the couch. Gee, I haven't seen that kid since she was a baby.
Where's she calling from? The front door?
That's the food. Come on. Do you realize that Mildred might have more money than we do?
If you paid her this week, she's got more money than we do.
Have you got money for the delivery boy? Agatha, you're back.
I know I should have called first, Miss McMillan, especially after you put me up without a peep when Wilhelmina died. But I just want to surprise my baby sister.
Oh.
Where is she?
She's in the kitchen. Agatha,
And where is your handsome commissioner?
He's there.
I
Agatha.
bet he's out solving crimes, doing something daring.
No, he's right there.
Oh, Commissioner, you'll never guess what happened. I was
You
out there.
came back to San Francisco for the reading of Wilhelmina's will, and you're planning on staying here as usual.
Well, it's all right, of course.
And you're too late.
Too late for what?
Hi, Ag.
Mildred. Oh. Yeah, a long time no see. Wilhelmina wrote me into her will. Me too. Oh, it seems like I've never been away. Well, you're right. You just left day before yesterday. Well, I better put my stuff back in your room. Yeah, well, is there a problem? I mean, I wouldn't want to burden anyone. I can always stay at the Y.
They can stay here, but you will have to decide where to put them all.
Put who all?
The food.
Hi, guess who?
Little Bo Peep.
Oh, Aunt Mildred.
No, Aunt Agatha.
Aunt Agatha. Aunt Mildred.
Hi, dear.
And you must be Commissioner and Mrs. McMillan. Aunt Mildred's written me all about you.
Well, it's certainly nice to meet you, Jenny.
Likewise.
My, you were right. He is a tall one.
Oh,
Well, don't let me disrupt anything. Why don't you all just go about doing whatever it was you were doing before I came in, and I'll just go unpack.
Unpack? And where are you sleeping, my dear?
In Aunt Mildred's room.
I know you must be exhausted, so let me show you where to put your things, and you can tell me all about it.
All about what?
Anything, dear, anything.
You know, I've never witnessed a population explosion before.
She took my suitcase.
Ah, the food.
Bound to be more relative.
Don't joke. It's the food.
Great. I'm starved. I'd like 4 pounds of lean burger, 3 fryers, and cut them up for me, will you?
Some eggs.
Yeah, 2 dozen eggs, 6 heads of lettuce, a bunch of celery,
And some nice tomatoes.
some nice tomatoes. Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, anytime today is fine. Thanks. I think we should take that table and move it out.
Morning.
Morning.
Got any coffee?
Commissioner, it's none of my business, but did you know that an excess of coffee can upset the stomach? You're right. See? It is none of your business. Well, I'm just trying to be helpful. Why don't you go and check out the living room for warts?
Hi, everybody.
Hi, honey. Want some coffee?
Oh, thank you.
Sleep well, dearie?
Yes, like a baby.
Are you guys still here? You better hurry up. You're going to be late for the reading of the will.
Where's my purse? Hurry, Mildred. Hold it, will you? Cab's not even here yet.
Well, I'm ready. Isn't this exciting?
Get your hopes up, dearie.
Oh, I know how Gulliver felt when the Lilliputians got him.
There's your cab. Oh, well, this is it, the big time. I'm nervous. You want to stay home? Not on your life. Or Wilhelmina's. No offense.
Wish us luck.
Luck. Remember now, we split between us whatever money we get. I admire your optimism. Don't worry, kid, it's in the bag. She must have left us something.
In the living room.
Quiet. Do you hear it?
I don't hear anything.
Neither do I. Isn't it wonderful?
And memory do make, publish, and declare this to be my last will and testament, and hereby revoke all former wills made by me. May I apologize again for this heating system. It's the second time this month that it's gone out. They keep telling me that they've got it fixed, but, well, yes. Article 1. I direct my executor to pay my just debts and funeral expenses as soon after my decease as may be practicable. Article 2. I give and bequeath the Mr. Thornton. We've despaired of your showing up.
Sorry to keep you all waiting. I was unavoidably detained. Business.
I believe that you know everybody present.
Why don't we save all the social amenities for later, I'm sure everyone's anxious to hear the will.
Yes. Well, let's see now. Where was I?
We give and bequeath.
Oh, yes. I give and bequeath the following. To McGill Esteban, since he has professed no interest in material goods but only in my love, the original oil painting of myself that he seems so fond of.
Win a few, lose a few, eh, baby?
Article 3. All the rest, residue, and remainder of my property, real, personal, and mixed, wheresoever situated in the assessed value of $996,000, I give, devise, and bequeath to my grandniece, Jennifer Carter.
What?
If for any reason Jennifer Carter is unwilling
Oh, I'm willing.
or unable to receive,
I've heard enough. This is a farce. She'd never leave everything to her.
this will is signed and witnessed. Mr. Thornton, please. You are named next in succession if Miss Carter...
Next in line? I'm first in line. I was the one who took care of her day in, day out, not her. She wasn't even here for her funeral.
We're all legally bound by this document, sir.
Oh, really? Well, hang on to your briefs, Halstead. I'll tear that will apart at the seams. We'll just see who gets what.
Roger, please.
Mr. Thornton, I must warn you that if you contest this will and lose, you lose everything. No settlement, no succession, no nothing.
I don't intend on losing, Mr. Halstead. That money is mine, and I'll get it one way or another.
Well, Roger, please.
Sandy, stay out of this.
I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry.
Oh, what a sore loser. Well, just for curiosity's sake, Your Honor,
I'm a lawyer, not a judge.
or whatever you are, who's next in line after Thornton?
Well, you are, and then Mildred, and then Charity.
Well, I guess that about wraps it up, folks.
May I suggest that everybody stay in town till we find out what Mr. Thornton intends to do?
Oh, I feel so guilty. Maybe I shouldn't keep the money. Can I refuse it?
Well, it's highly irregular, but there's nothing to stop you.
Oh, yes, there is, Consular.
What?
This.
They are right, Miss Carter. You should keep your legacy. It is, after all, your great-aunt's wish.
Well,
Let me drive you home. We'll talk about it.
and Agatha...
Mildred and I'll take a cab.
Wonderful. Let's go. May I call you Jenny?
Certainly.
Piranha. Piranha. Pure piranha.
No, I do not know who took care of the folding chairs last year. Chicken would be fine. Hamburger would be fine. I don't know which. Yes, I am the police commissioner, but the policeman's picnic is not... Mrs. Simon.
Thank you so much, Sergeant, for helping me move. I know how busy
glad
you
to,
are.
Jenny.
But
I don't
Mrs.
have
Simon...
anything else to do.
Charlie. Yes, I'll see that it's taken care of, Mrs. Simon. Yes, thank you. Goodbye. Charlie, since you have nothing at all to do, you are now officially in charge of the policeman's picnic.
Oh, Commissioner,
Oh, picnic, terrific. I love picnics. Can I help?
Oh, if you're going to put it that way.
Oh, Jenny, I wish you'd change your mind and just stay with us.
Oh, thank you, ma'am, but I really can't impose any longer. I found a lovely little hotel not far from here. And thank you, too, Commissioner, sir, for everything.
Not at all.
Now, you have fun, and you take good care of her, Sergeant.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Jenny. I'm gonna miss you.
Well, just for a few hours. We're having dinner together tonight, remember?
Yeah, right. Here's your other bag, dearie. I packed it for you.
Thank you, Aunt Agatha. Now, about that picnic. Of course, we'll have lots of food and things to drink, but maybe we'll leave...
That's one down.
Yeah.
At last. Now we can get things organized around here.
Will you look at this place?
Oh, yes, look at this room.
Will that be all, sir?
Oh, yes, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Have a nice stay.
Oh, I'm not staying.
Of course not, sir.
I asked for the best, but this is a palace. How do I look in satin, Sergeant?
Terrific. But, Jenny, this place is going to cost you a bundle.
I know, but I have a bundle. I could buy this room. I might even could buy this whole hotel.
Oh, well, I wish I could stay here and enjoy it with you, but I'm still on duty.
Oh, do you have to go?
I'm afraid so, but I wish I could stay.
Then you'll come back.
I accept. And, Jenny, just a slight word of caution. You know, San Francisco is a pretty big city, and there are lots of fast-talking types around, so you be careful, okay?
I will.
Oh, listen. Here's a card with my downtown number on it, so keep it handy. They know where I am day and night. So if you need anything at all, don't hesitate to call.
I will. Thank you. You're a nice friend.
Thank you. Ooh, your key? And don't forget to lock the door behind me.
All right.
It's getting a bit late, don't you think? No, we have plenty of time. Where's the cab? Well, relax, will you? It'll be here in a minute. Well, the problem is that child is going to need some financial counseling. But what she's going to get is every two-bit fast buck artist in town trying to climb into her bed. As it were. Is, was, were. What's the difference? She can take care of herself. Oh, yeah. Oh, do I detect a trace of bitterness over the disposition of Wilhelmina's estate? You betcha. Well, it's not Jenny's fault. It could have been left to any one of us. Then why didn't they? There's a taxi. Come on. Actually, she's a very lovely girl. A bit naive, but sweet, really. A change of heart that has nothing to do with the fact that she is now the richest kid on the block, right? Besides being older and wiser, not to mention taller, I'll just ignore that spiteful remark. You don't see me complaining because I didn't inherit any money. You never were ambitious. Well, I have a steady job, which is more than I can say for some people I know. Well, it's not my fault there's a slump in the market for office consultants. Oh, that's what they call part-time help now? Oh, here it is. How do I look? Oh, courant, my dear. Jenny? Jenny, you here? Ah!
Mr. Halstead, please. Commissioner McMillan again. Mr. Halstead. Yes, I want the names and addresses of all the beneficiaries. Send the list to my office plus a copy of the will. Now, is there a clause in there about contesting the will? I see. In other words, if the court rules against them, they lose everything, right? I see. Thank you, Mr. Halstead. Yes, we'll feel sorry about it, too. Goodbye.
I'm gonna take Mildred and Agatha home, okay?
Yeah, I'll be home as soon as I can.
Okay.
No signs of a struggle, sir.
Thanks, Wes. Ted, I want a ballistics report as soon as you get it.
It'll be on your desk, sir.
Anything about forced entry?
Sir, when I left here, I heard her lock the door. It must have been somebody she knew.
Wait a minute. First, there's Wilhelmina, suddenly dead. And now, is there an autopsy report on Wilhelmina?
I don't know, Commissioner.
Well, if not, let's get one.
Yes, sir. Take a look at this.
One-way ticket to Rio de Janeiro under the name of Amy Lee DeVroe.
Yeah, well, what would Jenny be doing with somebody else's airplane ticket?
Maybe she bought it for herself.
Under a fictitious name?
She knew her life was in danger. She wanted to get out as soon as she got the money.
Yeah, well, I'll check out the Devereaux name, sir.
I want you to question everybody on this floor. Find out if they saw anybody going in and out. Also, check with the switchboard for calls.
Right away, sir.
And I want a complete report on Roger Thornton, including his financial condition.
Yes, sir. Come on, Wes.
A plan. That's what we need is a plan. It's Thornton. I know it's Thornton. But how to catch him?
Take it easy, Sherlock.
Aha. Sherlock Holmes. What would he do now?
Sit down.
Well, I think better on my feet.
Agatha, I'm sure that Mac is doing everything that he can possibly do.
But is it enough?
I think we'd all feel better if you would just sit down.
Well, of course. Why don't you just say so? Miguel Esteban. Now, there's a suspicious character if I ever saw one. You know who did it? Did you get any clues? Did you arrest anyone?
No to all of the above.
Well, it's got to be Thornton. Can't you just arrest him?
Agatha, that's not exactly the way due process works.
So far, his only crime seems to be greed.
Well, there's Miguel Esteban. Miguel, yes. He's chasing Jenny all around the place.
Chasing ladies, rich or poor, does not a crime make.
Oh, if you catch him, it is, Commissioner.
Well, you know, Agatha, I'm just going to have to think on that. In bed. Good night.
I think that's a great idea. I think I'll go to bed, too. Good night, Agatha. Good night.
That doesn't sound bad. I think I'll turn in, too.
Doesn't anybody realize how serious this is? Mildred! Doesn't anybody realize how serious this is? Somebody? Anybody? Tell me.
Mr. Thornton. Mr. Thornton.
I already have enough insurance. No, I won't sell my boat, and I gave at the office. I assume that you fit in there somewhere.
Your Aunt Wilhelmina's dead. Jennifer Carter is dead. I don't know who did it, but I have a lot of suspects, and I assume you fit in there somewhere.
Oh, Commissioner, my apologies. It's nice to know that the demise of one little unimportant child brings out our city's finest.
Thank you. I notice you're not overcome with grief.
I hardly knew her. I certainly had no reason to dislike her.
She got all your aunt's money.
Look, Commissioner, I can save us both a lot of time. No, I don't have an alibi, but I don't have a motive either. You see, I have quite enough money as it is.
That may be. But your behavior at the reading of the will was, shall we say, less than gracious.
Now, that was a matter of principle. In spite of my devotion, my aunt despised me, my life, everything about me. Denying me her estate was the final insult.
I only have $11 in change on me.
You suspect me of murdering my aunt for her money, then murdering Jenny for the same reason. But you need evidence to make that arrest, so you've come down here to see what you can find. So here's my gun. Check it out.
Actually, I was just looking for an excuse to leave the office.
Oh, in that case, you care to go out for a spin, Commissioner?
No, thank you. I get seasick.
Why don't you give yourself a title? Like internal domestic consultant. Then you can ask for a raise.
I don't need a raise.
You're not in touch with your needs.
Listen, well, the thing I want to be in touch with the most is lunch. The commissioner's due home any minute. Besides, I just got a raise.
I assume you have the cost of living escalator?
Listen, this isn't the Teamsters Union against big industry, you know. What's that?
Oh, what is that? Don't touch it again.
I have to get at it.
Have you got a workman's comp?
Oh, it's stuck.
Hello?
Come on out, you little devil.
What's for lunch?
How about that?
No, I'd rather have a tuna fish sandwich.
Isn't he amusing?
Well,
Well, what?
did you arrest him?
Who?
Thornton.
Of course not.
No wonder crime is up 30%. Nobody wants to make an arrest around here.
Did Enright call?
Yeah. They drew a blank on the hotel. Nobody saw anybody enter or exit except Enright and Jenny when they went in.
Any fingerprints?
Zilch.
Zilch.
Nothing.
Commissioner, how well do you know this Enright man?
Very well. Why?
The power and the allure of sudden wealth, Commissioner. Then stir in a pretty girl, and you have all the ingredients of a crime of greed and passion.
You have a fascinating mind, Agatha.
It kind of runs in the family.
That's true.
I'm going out.
Where to?
Just out.
I don't want to alarm you, Commissioner, but I have a feeling that Agatha is going to do something that we're all going to regret.
Well, she's just concerned, like the rest of us.
Concerned, yes. Like the rest of us, never.
Pedro Thompson Thornton, 1408. 1408. 1408. 1408. 1408.
1408.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What are you doing here?
I'm from Temple Aid. I'm the new girl you ordered.
I didn't order a new girl, or an old girl for that matter, Aunt Agatha. Now, what are you doing here?
Well, I was really looking for your secretary.
She's not in the drawer.
Oh? Where is she then?
It's lunchtime. You figure it out.
Well, in that case, I'll come back another time.
Don't move.
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna call the police.
Is that any way to treat a relative?
It's a way to treat a sneak thief.
The commissioner of police happens to be a very good friend of mine.
In that case, I'll talk to him.
Yes? Roger Thornton? Yeah, I'll take it. Hello, Mr. Thornton. Who? She what?
On top of it all, she claims to be a personal friend of yours.
You might call it that.
Look, if you sent her here to snoop around my office...
Take it easy, Mr. Thornton. I'll come right over.
I hope so. I could have shot her just as easily as not. Next time I catch anyone prowling around my office, I will shoot.
Hang on, I'm coming.
Who was it, Mildred?
I know we'll never know, but he left these flowers, and by process of elimination, I can only assume they're for you.
How nice.
Yeah.
Let's see who they're
Is
from.
today something special?
No, well, it is now. To Agatha. To Agatha?
Agatha?
Who would send flowers to Agatha?
Yeah. Who would send flowers to Agatha?
I said that.
Well, I tell you, there's one thing we could do. We could steam it open.
No, we couldn't.
And then seal it right up again.
We just put the card right here and wait until Agatha comes home.
Right. Well, I have some things to do in the kitchen.
Yeah, I got a lot of things to do upstairs. Well, let's go do them.
Oh, oh.
I was just as far from finding something. I know it.
Matt, what are you doing home?
Just delivering Wonder Woman back to her lair.
What are you talking
Agatha,
about?
you could have been shot.
Shot? What'd you do?
Well, nothing, really.
Nothing. Roger Thornton caught our Miss Marple going through his private office file.
But I thought if I could find some proof that he needed a lot of money, then we'd have Jenny's killer.
Agatha, this is no game. If he pressed charges, you'd have been thrown in jail.
Jail?
But he wouldn't press charges. If he did, they'd know he was trying to hide something. Don't you see?
I gotta get out of here. I almost understand what she's saying.
Don't you worry, Commissioner. We'll solve this.
No, Agatha. I'll solve it. I and my department, you, will keep your nose clean. Is that clear?
But I...
No buts. You pull something like that again and I'll have you deported.
Mac. Well, Mac.
Can you deport a citizen?
What are we gonna do with her?
I think we ought to just give her flowers.
Flowers?
Here you go, Agatha.
These are for me?
That's what it says, but I think it's a mistake.
I find you most intriguing. I would love to see you, Miguel Esteban.
Oh, I don't believe that.
It's inevitable.
Well, so's the end of the world. Listen, don't you realize he's making a play for you because he thinks you're next in line if Thornton takes a fall for Jenny's murder? Besides, he's the one you said was a piranha.
A hasty judgment. You're just jealous, that's all.
Jealous of what?
That I'm the one he finds intriguing. Miguel is obviously a man of very good taste.
Hello. Oh, yeah, just a moment. Miguel doesn't waste any time.
Hello? Miguel who? Could you please refresh my memory? Oh, yes, I remember now. This afternoon? Well, maybe I could squeeze in a few minutes. I'll check my calendar. Yes, this afternoon would be just fine. What time?
Yeah, Your story is really fascinating. Tell me more about it.
Would you believe he held me at gunpoint for almost a half hour? Can you imagine?
That must have been terrible for you. I find you most attractive. We must spend more time together.
Mr. Esteban, I didn't just fall off the turnip truck, you know.
You're wondering why my sudden interest.
Well, no offense. It's just that a man with your talent, well, he's usually attracted by wealth.
I'll be frank. I am really worried about this poor child's murder. I was very close to Wilhelmina, as you know, and I want to see justice done. I think you are a woman of courage and conviction, and I think between the two of us, we can help solve this case.
And that's the whole reason?
Mm-hmm. And the fact that I find you, please don't take offense, physically entrancing.
You're kidding.
You're a very perceptive woman. Do you think that Thornton will be convicted for this murder?
Nope. Not the way they're handling it.
Why do you say that?
Well, any amateur can tell that he's guilty. But we have no evidence.
What about if someone could find the murder weapon? Do you think that will help?
Yes. Yes, it certainly would. But where to find it?
Well, it's common knowledge among some other members of the family that the man is a collector of guns.
Well, he has at least one that I know of.
He keeps several. At home, at his office, on his boat at the marina.
I bet the police don't even know that, Mr. Esteban.
Call me Miguel.
Miguel? Well, I have to be leaving soon. I have a very important engagement this afternoon.
Oh, of course. Miss? Lunch tomorrow.
We'll see.
Sergeant Enright is here.
Good.
And also, I wanted to remind you.
What?
You know what?
No, I don't know.
What you told me you didn't want to know about.
Maggie!
The Carpenters.
What?
The Carpenters.
Oh, I don't want to see him. I told you that.
I tried to stop them, sir, but the entire building is being done.
All right. Just let me know when they're due.
Yes, sir.
Don't you think it's time to bring Sergeant Enright in?
Oh, yes, sir. I almost forgot. Sergeant.
Thank you, Maggie.
Want a sandwich?
No, thank you, sir. I've already eaten.
I've just been looking at the ballistics report on Thornton's gun. They don't match.
That's not all that doesn't match, sir.
What do you mean?
You wanted to see the Thornton report? Sir, Thornton is not just broke. He is so deep in that hole, he can't possibly get out without Aunt Wilhelmina's money.
Wilkerson Finance Company is into them?
Oh, very heavily, sir.
Well, they're just this side of Murder Incorporated.
You know, this is just a guess, sir, but they could have killed Wilhelmina.
Or put Thornton up to it.
Well, I don't think that he's the killer type, sir.
You'd be amazed what people will do when you threaten to turn their body into a planter.
Well, if you're going to put it that way, sir.
Anything on Jenny?
Not much success there either. I've tried to find some background on her, but so far I keep coming up with a big fat zero.
You sure you don't want a sandwich?
Yeah, I'm positive. You see, Jenny just dropped out of college and then she disappeared. I've tried to find family. I've tried to find friends. She did have a college roommate, a Lynn Connors, but she's disappeared. And she received several letters from a fellow by the name of George Kimball, but I can't find him either.
What about the plane ticket?
Well, that's another thing, sir. There is no Amy Lee Devereaux.
Well, then she did buy the ticket herself.
Yes, sir, it looks that way. But if she knew that she was in danger, why didn't she just pick up the phone and call us?
All right, we'll call missing persons. Maybe something will turn up.
Yes, sir.
Maybe it's time to get Roger Thornton in. He may decide it's safer to talk to us.
Yeah, I'll get on it, sir.
Mildred? Agatha? $3:00, First Street bus transfer. Arrive Marina. She wouldn't. She wouldn't. Commissioner McMillan's office, please. Maggie, is Mac there?
Pardon me, sir. I'm looking for Roger Thornton's boat.
I'm not supposed to let anyone in. Everyone has his own key.
Well, I'm Roger's mother. Chicken soup.
I thought she was dead.
Do I look dead to you?
I'm terribly sorry, Mrs. Thornton.
Well, you should be.
Sip 1900 de la Petite.
Thank you.
I'm gonna take her out about 3 miles, see if I can get some yellowtail.
Okay, good luck. It's supposed to be pretty good.
We're looking for a woman who's trying to board Roger Thornton's boat. Have you seen her?
Oh, you mean his mother?
Mother?
Sure. They set out to sea maybe 10 minutes ago.
Where's the Coast Guard?
Right over there, Ocean Avenue.
I'm Commissioner McMillan. I'd like to radio the La Petite. It put out about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, they just radioed in, said they're on fire.
What?
Fire.
Why don't you check out Thornton's apartment? I'll finish here.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me what happened here?
Sorry, no.
Was it an accident?
We don't know.
Well, then do you think it was murder?
Look, I didn't say that.
Hey, listen, who was the guy on the boat? Who was the lady on the boat? You want my coat?
No, thanks.
Who was the guy that got blown up?
Roger Thornton.
Hey, do you think this case has a gangland M.O.?
What?
Well, I mean, like, do you think the guy was snuffed? Offed? Murdered?
I don't know.
Hey, were you in the boat?
No. I always go swimming with my clothes on.
Yeah. This Thornton guy, is he a friend of yours? Relative, what?
Hey, wait a minute. Who are you?
I'm a stringer for the San Francisco News.
Well, shouldn't you be at practice or something?
Oh, come on, that's a reporter.
Look, I don't know a thing. Excuse me.
Yeah, well, nice talking to you, Miss,
Chadwick. Florence Chadwick.
This could be part of a bond casing. It's the same shape, thickness.
Take a look at this.
Yeah. Looks blown apart. Can't say for sure until we check it out.
We can say for sure right now. I'll check with your office first thing in the morning.
Okay.
Agatha!
Agatha, I want to say something, and I don't want you to take it the wrong way, but you're nuts.
How could I possibly take that the wrong way?
I will never understand your way of thinking.
Well, I create as I go along. Reality is the moment. And life is impulsive.
Why do I have this overwhelming sense of defeat?
You know, this reminds me when we were children.
Oh, I know.
Commissioner, the signature on the receipt for that registered letter from Jenny simply does not match up with Mildred's letters from Jenny.
Well, if Jenny didn't sign the receipt for the letter, who did? Her roommate?
I don't know. And she's missing too, sir.
Have we got missing persons on it?
Oh, yes, sir. We're plugged into that great big FBI computer. We're checking thousands of missing persons flyers.
Hi, Commissioner. How about some dinner?
I want to get a statement from Agatha first.
Oh, lots of luck.
Stay for dinner?
If you insist, sir.
Okay, I'll put another place on.
What's a statement?
Oh, it's nothing to worry about, Agatha. It's just a precaution, a simple safeguard.
Well, sounds like the old third degree. Rubber hoses and all that stuff.
You might have seen something important.
Okay, you guys. Here's what I think. Now, it definitely was not a gangland caper, even though the M.O. had certain superficial likenesses. Now, Thornton was snuffed out, and And you think I did it?
No, Agatha.
I want my lawyer.
I'm a lawyer.
You can't be in both places at once. Either arrest me or set me free.
Agatha, you are not under arrest. You did not commit a crime. However, you were the last person to see Roger Thornton alive, and you stand next in line to inherit all the money.
I do?
You do.
Oh, I forgot.
You are also next in line to be killed.
Killed? Somebody kill me? No. I don't want the money. They can have it.
Relax. Nobody gets a penny of the money until the case is solved.
Well, then how come Roger was killed?
I don't know. That's what we're trying to find out. Now, why were you on the boat?
And I won't go to jail?
No.
Well, it all happened when I told Miguel. You see, I told Miguel I thought Thornton killed Jenny. Then he said if we could find the murder weapon...
And you thought you'd just help out?
Of course.
Did you hear anything unusual? See anything? Find anything?
No. Just some unpaid bills. And I put those in my picnic basket.
Hey, something is burning. What is it?
Oh, it's my girdle. I was just drying it out.
Would you two gentlemen like to know what I did today? After I finished the grocery shopping, I got rid of a door-to-door salesman. And then I cleaned out the furniture polish that Agatha thought was the oven cleaner.
Well, if Agatha thought furniture polish was oven cleaner, do you suppose she put oven cleaner on the furniture?
Agatha!
First thing tomorrow morning, I want those goons from the Bookerson Finance Company in my office.
Yes, sir.
Let's get a drink.
Yeah? Do you think that Roger actually killed his aunt for the money? My thoughts exactly. I have been reading Sandy Adams' letters. Pretty hot stuff in there. She was a lot more than a secretary. A lot more to gain. I mean, if Thornton got the money and she got Thornton. Wait a minute. This one's not a love letter. Listen to this. If you think you can dump me, you've got another think coming. I'm not going to let you waste 2 years of my life. Wow. That's one rejected lady. There's a motive right there. No. I just can't believe that she would know how to rig a bomb. I mean, if she was going to kill him, she'd probably use something small, something like a knife or a gun, something she could handle. Still, it's a remote possibility. It's worth checking. How do you expect me to solve this case if you never listen to anything that I say?
Oh, you got it all wrong, Mr. McFarland.
McMillan.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got a bad ear for names. But anyway, it wasn't like you think. Roger and I had a good thing going, you know. It started off just a job, but all those nights working late, usual thing happens. If you know what I mean? You work late sometimes?
Oh, yes.
Are you married?
Very.
Your wife should worry more about you. I mean, look at you sitting here all alone with me. Anything could happen.
Yes. Roger, now, you didn't know he stood to inherit his aunt's fortune?
No, not at first, I didn't. I fell in love with his mind.
And you felt these feelings were being reciprocated?
No, I thought he loved me.
Were there other women in his life?
For 2 years, everything was just fine. Then suddenly, he's getting all this money and poof, everything goes. Me first. Oh, don't tell me about Roger and all his women. I knew all about them. I didn't care. Roger was the kind of guy that you play, you know, while he's around. Well, don't think I didn't have hopes. I was really hurt when he dumped me. I mean, he was getting all that money, and I was getting the shaft. I can't decide. You pick one.
Oh, I don't know. They're all so uniquely you.
Pick the blonde one. It was Roger's favorite. It's his funeral.
You know, Senor Esteban seems prosperous in his own right, sir.
Senor Esteban seems to be a lot of things, none of which I buy.
Well, what about Sandy Adams?
Well, that's a little easier. There are two possibilities there only. She's either very innocent or very clever. I've got a tail on her till I find out which. Hi, Maggie.
Commissioner, your office
You
is...
hold off, Cosby.
Yeah, the men are there.
From the Bookerson Finance Company?
They're here, but so are the other men.
What men?
The carpenters!
Hiya, Charlie.
Oh, hi, Pete.
Commissioner? Hiya. You know him?
Yes, sir. I got him the job. He's my brother-in-law.
I thought you didn't like your brother-in-law.
I don't, but I love my sister. And if he doesn't support her, I may have to.
Commissioner, enough small talk. What are we doing here?
I'm trying to solve a murder, and I thought somehow you two could help.
Who was the former person?
Roger Thornton.
He's dead?
Blown to bits on a boat.
You have no idea how that pains me.
How much is he into you?
Way over 300,000.
And you didn't decide to make an example of him?
Are you kidding? Speaking theoretically, of course. You only make examples of small fish. A big fish like Thornton, you hope maybe a couple of broken parts will make the point.
Commissioner? I thought you might want to see this right away. It just came in.
Thank you. Oh, would you escort these two out, please?
Let's go.
I may want to talk to you again.
Always a pleasure, Commissioner. Come on, Ernest.
Anything the matter, sir?
Missing person flyer.
Oh, is it Jenny?
Well, it looks like her. But it isn't. Jenny wasn't Jenny.
Psst, Charlie. She was being impersonated by her own roommate.
That would explain the plane ticket. Lynn wanted to grab the money and run before anybody found out she was a phony.
Yes, unless whoever killed this Lynn Connors did so for an entirely different reason. But then we'd have two totally unrelated murders on our hands.
All right, but if Jenny's still alive, where is she?
Psst, Charlie. Well, I'll put out a trace on her.
I'll do it right away, huh?
Hey, Charlie.
What is it?
You're stepping in my glue, Charlie.
Come on, let's get out of here. Well, take your shoe off
Oh,
first.
yeah, right.
Charlie, Ellie sends her love.
I got another shoe in the car, sir.
Good.
No. I don't know. He says he's some big shot in the police or like that. But I still think he's a cluck.
I wouldn't have known where to look either, but Wilhelmina was always talking about Jenny being in college. You know, she was mighty proud of that girl. I know I put that address someplace.
You make these model airplanes yourself?
Yeah, I've always been interested in aviation. I've got a little single engine job myself that I fly around on weekends. Ah, here it is.
Did she ever answer your letter?
Well, come to think of it, no. I'd always just get back a signed receipt.
A little unusual, isn't it?
Well, yes. Generally, most people will give you a written reply, but not always.
Well, thanks for your help, Mr. Halstead.
You know, Commissioner, I'm kind of embarrassed.
Don't be.
You know, I shouldn't have been fooled by that girl.
You know, we all were.
The irony of the whole thing is that if the murderer thought he was killing Jenny, he did it all for nothing.
Well, I've taken enough of your time.
Commissioner.
Four diamonds.
I pass.
Horse face?
I pass. Listen, Jenny is alive then, right?
I don't know.
She might be. Four, no trump.
Pass.
Yeah, she might. 5 hearts.
Well, I don't know what to think now. I pass.
7 spades.
I'll get it. It's probably me.
7 spades.
Yeah.
Hello? I'll see if she's in. Who's calling? Who's Sarah Farnsworth?
Oh, she's only the richest woman in San Francisco.
Who's the call for, Agatha? Me. Hello? Yes, this is she. Well, I'd love to come. I'll have to let you know. Well, my secretary has me on a very tight schedule. You know how it is. Yes. Of course. Of course, I'll do my best, dear. Goodbye. She's invited me to the ladies' auxiliary tea on Saturday. But why would she do that? It's the grapevine. She thinks you're rich now. But I'm not. If Jenny's alive, I'm not even next in line. Ah. But Sarah Farnsworth doesn't know that, does she? We don't have to tell her, do we? What was the last bid?
7 spades.
Double. You know what my horoscope said today? What? Spent a lot of money today. Well, how do I look?
Very nice.
Commissioner, very nice isn't exactly what I had in mind. I want to look worldly.
What I'm worried about is otherworldly.
Otherworldly? As in dead, Toots. But you said that
I know what I said. I just think it would be kind of nice if you hung around here for a while without running around all over town. Till we solve this thing. Mildred, will you tell her I'm concerned for her safety?
Mildred, will you tell the commissioner I appreciate his concern, but I have a lunch date with Miguel Esteban, and I refuse to break it.
Reschedule it.
One must strike whilst the iron is hot.
Would you tell her the murderer may feel the same way?
Did you hear what he said? Yeah. Are you gonna think about it? Yeah. Good. Whilst you're thinking about it, you can help me clean the house.
Mi amor, mariquita linda, ya me voy porque tú ya no me quieres como yo te quiero a ti. Me voy porque tus desdenes sin piedad han herido para siempre a mi pobre corazón. Adiós, vida de mi vida, la causa de mi dolor, el amor de mis amores, el perfume de mi flor.
You are absolutely exquisite, my dear Agatha.
Oh, thank you, Mickey.
A fitting end to a near-perfect afternoon will be a visit to my apartment. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know.
Besides, I want so desperately to be alone with you.
But we're alone here.
No. Away from prying eyes. I want to show you my rock sauna.
What prying eyes?
That guy at the bar.
Let's get out of here.
I promise you, you will not regret this momentous decision.
No. I mean, I want you to take me back to Mildred's.
To Mildred's?
Now. That guy gives me the creeps.
What about my place? My rock sauna.
Oh, just control yourself, if you can.
I don't understand.
You don't care about my safety?
Yes, I do. Of course I do. But if it's just that I don't know.
Now, if you care for me, you'll wait just a little longer until we get all this business straightened out.
And then I'll feel safe no matter where I go. Including your sauna.
Of course. I take you home.
Thank you. You're welcome. Hi, Charlie. Hi, Commissioner. Hello? All right. Well, hang in there. Goodbye.
There's one thing I don't understand.
What?
I say there's one thing I don't understand. I don't understand how Miguel Esteban keeps alive. I mean, he doesn't have a bank account. He only has credit cards.
All he has is credit cards, and he owes them all a bundle.
Must be desperate for the money.
Yeah, but killing's not his style, sir. He's a gigolo. Besides, why does he keep romancing Agatha when Thornton is the next beneficiary?
Coming in with Agatha before Thornton's death convinces her he's not after her money. Once he gets his hooks into her, he kills Thornton.
Agatha has the money, and Miguel has Agatha.
Right.
Thank you, Nero Wolfe. There is one problem, sir.
What's that?
Do you think he can keep up with Agatha for the rest of his life?
A man who'd killed twice wouldn't hesitate to kill again.
Well, that could mean that Agatha is in very grave danger, sir.
I'm afraid so.
Charlie, who's Nero Wolfe?
It's all wrong, and I know what I'm talking about. I don't label your meat.
It looks like a 5 to me. $5.98.
That is definitely not a 5. It would be a 6 before it would be a 5. No, no. You know what it is? It's a 4. $4.98.
Lady, I got a lot of customers in line here.
Well, I have a lot of hungry people at home. So let's just get a pencil and paper and figure it out. May I borrow your pencil, please? Thank you. Now, let's see. That's 5.37 pounds at, do I have to move the decimal point?
Okay, lady, okay. You can have it for $4.98.
Because it is 4.
It comes to $10.20 altogether.
10.20? All righty. The exact change. 5, 10.
Let me help you.
Oh, you're brave. You're very brave.
Well, over-anxious would be a little more like it.
No, I mean it. There aren't many people who would help a stranger in trouble. You know, you sort of restored my faith in human nature.
That's okay. It's part of my job.
Job?
I hope I don't destroy your illusions, but the commissioner assigned me to watch out after you.
Well, in that case, you should have got here sooner. Pick up my stuff.
Yes, ma'am. I didn't get a good look at the driver, sir. My angle was bad, and there wasn't much light in the car.
Agatha, did you get a look at the driver?
No, it all happened so fast.
It was a new car, dark red, new plates. I couldn't make them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Sam, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
No, I don't want the money. I don't want anything to do with it.
Well, you don't even have the money yet.
Even if I don't have the money, I don't want it.
You're just upset, Agatha.
I'd say scared to death is more like it.
Don't say death to a scared person.
Maybe we now can prevail upon you to stay a little closer to home.
Commissioner, I'm going to call Mr. Halstead. I don't want to be next in line for the money. I don't even want to know what happens to it.
Why don't we decide that when you feel better?
No, I have to do it now. I won't feel better until I do. Hello, Mr. Halstead? This is Jenny's Aunt Agatha. Well, I hate to cause any more problems, but I'm afraid you're gonna have to do a little more paperwork. Well, I don't want to be in the will. Because somebody tried to kill me, that's why. Yeah, I'll sign anything. Thank you. Ah, there. Now I feel more like a real person again.
Are you sure you're not going to regret this, Agatha?
Me? Not a chance.
Oh, Mildred, what are you doing there? You scared me to death.
Just trying to get some sleep.
Oh.
Agatha snores.
Oh.
What's the matter? Couldn't you sleep either?
No. All I kept thinking about was Agatha's near miss.
And I keep thinking there must be a way to get Agatha to change her mind about keeping the money.
What about her personal safety?
Well, if she doesn't leave the premises, what safer place could there be for her than right here?
I don't know. You know, I think that greed is clouding your personal judgment.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that's right.
What's going on down here?
Oh, Commish, I was just thinking there must be some way for Agatha to keep that money. I mean, she's throwing away a chance at a fortune.
Oh, you could solve the whole thing tomorrow.
Yeah, and then she wouldn't have lost a chance at the whole pie.
Right.
As long as you're talking about me. You mind if I sit down?
Agatha, you can't do it.
You mean I can't sit down?
No, you can't give up the money.
I've made up my mind.
So change your mind.
You want to see me killed or worse even?
What could be worse?
I can't think of a safer place for you to be than right here, right, Mac? Besides, now you'll have police protection. Right, Mac?
Well, and you'll feel crummy if you give it up. And furs, diamonds, the Riviera. You better think about it.
Nah, it's not worth it.
The men,
Men?
handsome men.
You know, Mac could assign Sergeant Enright to be with you, follow you everywhere you go. Right, Mac?
Well, I could give up a couple of days. If I live long enough, it might be nice to be rich.
Okay, that settles it. Everybody back to bed.
Mac? Let's go to bed.
Well, that's beginning to look very nice, Commissioner.
What's the matter?
Oh, Agatha just doesn't stop, sir. My feet are killing me. Oh, all that shopping, a hairdresser. She even bought a gym course.
You have my sympathies, Charlie. Believe me, you have my sympathies.
Thank you, sir. Anything new around here?
Oh, yeah. We located the parents of Jenny's boyfriend. They don't know where he is either. And he's moved from his last location.
And he was our only lead. Oh, well. I guess my coffee break is over. I've got to get Agatha back out into the stores. She wants to buy a new dress, something about a tea this afternoon.
Well, hang in there.
I'll try. Goodbye, Pete.
See you, Charlie. You know, Commissioner, now I remember who Nero Wolfe is. My wife buys every one of his records.
I don't know why not. It's a great
No,
idea.
it's too dangerous.
Mac, I don't see
No.
what... Is it any more dangerous
Absolutely
than...
not.
Okay.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Mildred, is Agatha back yet?
She's still at the tea.
Let me speak to Sally.
Well, she's not here. She's supposed to be there with you.
She's not here.
Well, she left here a little bit ago and said she's going to meet you. Commissioner, is there anything wrong?
No, nothing's wrong. Thank you, Mildred. Oh, no.
Yes?
Mr. Halstead, there's a Miss Jennifer Carter here to see you.
Jennifer Carter? Yes, show her right in. I must say, young lady, that seeing you has been quite a shock.
Well, you can imagine how shocked I was to hear about those murders.
Well, it's been a rather tragic turn of events. You know, I'm not sure that if I were in your place that I'd have shown up at all.
Well, under the circumstances, Mr. Halstead, you can understand why. I would appreciate it if you would just expedite matters so I can claim my inheritance and go.
Well, there's not a whole lot that I can do to help you at this point.
Why, what do you mean? The money is mine.
Yes, I know. It's just that... Oh, Commissioner. Jennifer Carter, this is Police Commissioner McMillan.
We've met.
Yes, we certainly have.
As a matter of fact, I'm a house guest of McMillan's right now.
As a matter of fact, I just came over here to take little Jenny home.
Do you know that Mr. Halstead says that he won't give me my inheritance?
I said that I can't, Jennifer.
He's right. Until the murder's solved, the entire state's frozen.
That's right.
Well, we really have to run. Mrs. McMillan is waiting.
Have you met Mrs. McMillan and Mr.
No, I
Halstead?
haven't had the pleasure.
Oh, she is super. She is so sophisticated and so charming and so beautiful.
And totally predictable.
Oh, isn't it just like a husband? Well, I'll be hearing from you, right, Mr. Halstead?
As soon as possible, my
Goodbye,
dear.
Mr. Halstead.
Goodbye.
Mr. Samuels, since Mr. Halstead is legal counsel and trustee to Wilhelmina's estate, does he have access to the money?
None whatsoever. From the moment of her death, that money was locked. No one but the stated beneficiary can touch a nickel of it.
I see. Should there be no beneficiary, would he have the right to designate which charity the money would go to?
Totally out of his hands. When Wilhelmina Carter died, Halstead relinquished all of his discretionary powers.
I see. Well, thank you, Mr. Samuels. Oh, there is one other thing I'd like you to check for me.
I'd be glad to. Sit down.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Halstead, we've broken the case. Just this morning. Now, under the circumstances, there doesn't seem to be any reason to hold back awarding the estate to its rightful heir. Oh, yes, I'm positive. I have all the proof I need. I'll have Jennifer call you. All right. Who are you?
Rose.
Where's Maggie?
Went to the dentist.
Oh. Locate Sergeant Enright for me immediately. Have him call me. I'm on my way to the airport.
Taking a trip? How nice for you.
Just call, will you please? Tell him I'll be in the helicopter.
Commissioner, what in the hell are...
Going somewhere?
Yeah, for a few days, but that's no reason to try and kill me.
Where are you going?
To Tahoe.
I wasn't sure whether you'd try to run or brazen through another murder.
Now, that's ridiculous. One minute why I'm going on a little trip, and the next I'm accused of murder. Be sensible, Commissioner. Well, I haven't got a motive. Shoot, I didn't even know them people. Well, there ain't a way that I could possibly see a penny of that money.
There sure isn't. Because you lost it. You had control of the money before Wilhelmina's death, but you lost that too, her banker told me. Everyone thought the beneficiaries were going around knocking one another off while you were committing murder in order to hide the fact that there was no inheritance at all.
It looked like such a good deal. Of course, there were temporary setbacks, but if she hadn't have died, I'd have got it all back to her. Things just kind of got out of hand.
I guess I have everything.
Yeah, and more. This is mine.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Aunt Agatha?
I'm Mildred.
I'm Jenny.
Are you for real?
Of course. I have some wonderful news. George and I are married.
And poor. Oh, listen, look at them. Young, healthy, in love. Who needs money?
We have that, too.
Not anymore.
Don't worry, Aunt Mildred. George is in oil.
Oil?
May I come in?
Sorry, Commissioner. I'd like you to meet your Aunt Agatha.
Hello.
Hi.
We didn't know about Wilhelmina's death because we were in Europe on our honeymoon.
We eloped.
Eloped? Who eloped? Jenny did. Oh, George, Jenny, I'd like you to meet Mrs. McMillan.
Hello.
How do you do? You know, you're famous.
So I hear. And I can't wait to find out about everything.
Well, there was this other girl that showed up.
Would you believe I almost got shot, and I just barely escaped a burning boat? Then there was this man who's been romancing me. And he... Oh, Mildred, would you cancel my cab, please, dear? With family here, I'm sure I can arrange to stay another week. Oh, and this man has been romancing me. His name is Miguel. Very handsome. He took me to this Spanish restaurant. It was so romantic.
Cancel her cab, will you?
Your place or mine?
My place, Admiral Corbett, and you're going to drop me off. And try not to run us into the ocean, please.
Now, surely you jest. I only had but one drink.
Well, you're not driving like that. Good night, Don.
Kid? One little nightcap, huh?
You'll never make it home.
Coffee?
All right, come on. Don? You're overdoing the lecherous act. Enough is enough.
But I haven't had anything.
We'll work on it some other time. Drink your coffee and go home. We both have to be in the office at 0700.
I'm talking Tarzan and Jane, and you're talking shop.
Down, boy. Drink the nice coffee.
You know what it is? You are still hung up on Harley, right?
If I were still hung up on Harley, we wouldn't have split up. Simple as that.
Well, then, if it is as simple as that, then why don't I just spend the night?
Because you haven't been invited. And that's not going to do you any good.
Will you admit it? You are crazy about me. Now, will you come on and dance? Put this down. Come on.
Oh, Don. Please.
Forget about the Navy. You want me, don't you?
You're going home in exactly 3 minutes.
Security, Lieutenant Brownell. Take it easy. We'll be right there. Harris, let's go.
I had to shoot him. I didn't have a choice.
He's dead.
Mac, you look beautiful.
Not bad for an old sea dog.
Yes, especially for one who's never been to sea. A little tight in the seat there, Commissioner.
Commander, Mildred. He's been on active duty since this morning.
Oh, yeah, well, if the United States can take it for 2 weeks, I suppose I can. I'll get it.
That woman has no patriotism.
None at all. None. Besides, it's not that tight in the seat.
Hi. John Paul Jones will be ready any minute. You want some coffee?
Thanks, Mildred, but I don't think we have time.
Ta-da! What do you think, Charlie?
You look terrific, sir.
Thank you.
Hope you're not just saying that, Sergeant.
Well, Sally, this is it.
I'm gonna miss you.
Yeah, it's a rough war. You won't see him till tonight.
It's the idea of it, Mildred. It's a whole strange new world.
I know, 30 minutes away. He does it 2 weeks out of every year.
This is active duty, a naval base.
All right. He sits in an office behind a desk, as opposed to the other 50 weeks of the year where he sits in an office behind the desk.
There's no glamour in your soul, Mildred. Not an ounce.
We of the Broom Brigade, Commander, Commissioner, take a different view of things.
Let's go, Charlie.
Have fun.
Goodbye.
Don't take any wooden anchors, Admiral.
I hate to think how this stuff's gonna pile up while I'm gone.
Well, why don't you do some moonlighting, sir? Drop by the office a couple of times a week.
I can't be a police commissioner and a naval officer at the same time. It's against the law.
Well, then I guess it'll have to stay piled up till you get back.
On the other hand, I don't see why we couldn't meet a couple times, have lunch. No law against old friends having a friendly chat.
Very good, sir.
Commander McMillan, reporting in.
Oh, yes, sir. Captain Stiles is out right now, but he's expecting you. If you'll just go down the corridor, second door to the left, Commander Campbell will take care of you.
Thank you.
Commander McMillan.
Yes?
I'm Petty Officer Bell. I'm going to be assisting you for the next 2 weeks.
Good morning.
May I take your bags?
Yes, thank you.
How do you like your coffee, sir?
Well, hot, strong, cream, sugar.
Okay, fine.
Commander Campbell. My name's McMillan.
The well-known police commissioner, isn't it?
Well, not for the next couple of weeks.
This must be something like hard duty for you, Commissioner. Leaving your police empire behind.
I'll survive. I take it you don't care much for police commissioners.
Oh, I don't mind police commissioners. It's JAG reserve officers I haven't much time for. Commander Campbell. Don't be ridiculous, Tybal. You're dealing with a 37-day UA. Now get your 6016R and throw him in front of a summary court-martial. You do remember some of our Navy terminology, Commander. UA?
Unauthorized absence.
Commander McMillan, Captain Stiles is back in his office. He'd like to see you if you're not busy.
Thank you. Captain.
Mac. Damn good to see you. Has it been a whole year?
I was thinking the same thing, Captain. It's good to see you.
Sit down.
Thank you.
How are things on the outside?
Well, there are more good guys than there are bad guys. We're hanging in there.
Well, the same here. We get busy, we get quiet in waves. I guess it's probably tied into a full moon. Mac, these little tours of duty must be kind of dull. How would you like something challenging this time?
Well, I'd love it. I don't get much legal practice these days.
That's the spirit. I want you to handle defense counsel, second-degree murder.
You're not serious?
The defendant's name is Catherine Boone. She's a lieutenant.
You are serious?
According to the lady, a lieutenant named Donald Corbett tried to rape her. Lieutenant Boone took exception to his attitude, pulled a gun and shot him. I need you.
Well, sir, I don't mean to question your judgment, but I haven't been in front of a jury for 12 years.
Mac, I haven't got anybody else.
There's not one JAG officer available?
Got a half a dozen bright young fellas. Several of them knew the deceased. A couple of them are too green to handle a murder. What choice do I have there, Mac?
Sir, the question is, would I be any better?
Now, you've been out of action for some time, but you've got something substantial to fall back on.
I know. My housekeeper mentioned it just this morning.
I'm not pretending you're the best man for the job. Just so happens you're the best man I've got.
Captain, excuse me. I've turned over that Article 32 on Vincent to Moore. He's going to need some help.
Oh, I'll talk to him after lunch. Have you two met?
We certainly have. Captain, you mentioned a shortage of experienced officers. It seems to me that Commander Campbell will be more than qualified.
Oh, he is more than qualified, but he's playing the other side of the fence.
Trial counsel.
Campbell's the government. You're the defense.
Commander?
You have your work cut out for you, Mac. He's one of our best. Oh, incidentally, I told Lieutenant Boone you'd be stopping by this afternoon. You'd better go over this in the meantime.
Thank you, sir.
He wouldn't go. He became mean and vicious. I couldn't believe it was the same person. He said I'd been teasing him all night and he wasn't going to stand for it any longer. Said he was going to take what he wanted. He started hitting me and tearing at my clothes. Then he slammed me back against the desk and he said if I didn't cooperate, he was going to have to get rough with me. I don't remember how it happened, but I must have reached in the drawer because suddenly the gun was this in my hand. I didn't want to shoot him. I just wanted to frighten him, but he kept coming toward me, and the gun went off, and why did it happen, Commander? I didn't want it to happen. I mean, was that right? Did I have a choice?
I don't think so. But that's what we'll have to convince the court. Now, let's see, you and Lieutenant Corbett worked in supply, became friends, but you didn't begin dating until a few weeks after your separation from your husband. Is that correct?
Right.
What was Lieutenant Corbett like?
Oh, he was warm, outgoing, uninhibited. He had a way of saying provocative things, so that they didn't really sound provocative. They sounded playful, good-humored.
How did he act that night? Anything different?
Not really. He was always terribly presumptuous, not terribly subtle. He kept saying, if we're going to wind up spending the night together, why put up a fuss?
Well, how much of a fuss did you put up? I mean, was he usually physically aggressive?
In a way, he was. He kept touching me, and I kept pushing his hand away, but he didn't take Don very seriously.
Well, yes, Lieutenant, but at the risk of sounding callous, we can't build a case on Lieutenant Corbett's good nature. Now, let me tell you again, I have been out of practice for quite a few years, and you do have the right to hire a civilian attorney. You also have the right for additional counsel from the Navy or any other branch of the service.
Captain Stiles explained that to me, and I told him I wanted to have the chance to talk to you before I made up my mind. I have, if you'll take me.
Well, looks like we're stuck with each other. Lieutenant, if you will excuse me, I have about a dozen years to catch up on.
Please make it Kid. And thank you, sir.
Goodbye, kid. I can tell you. I'm apprehensive, rusty. Contrary to what people think, self-defense is not a license to kill. The law says that any potential victim must use reasonable force under the circumstances. That means that I'm going to have to prove that if she didn't kill him, she definitely would have been raped. That's going to be quite a fight. And my opponent, Mr. Campbell, is pretty sharp.
Well, I think it's fabulous.
Hmm?
The whole thing, it's absolutely fabulous. It's the opportunity of a lifetime.
Really?
Mac, you're gonna be a lawyer again. A practicing lawyer. How many nights did you toss and turn wondering whether you made the right decision in giving up law and becoming a police commissioner?
Once, when I had a ptomaine attack after the policeman's ball.
The purity of the law. You're gonna be the happiest man on earth.
I like being a police commissioner.
Mac, you're gonna be another Clarence Darrow. They're gonna be flocking to you. You're gonna be turning them away at the door.
Sally, I stand a good chance of losing this case. Right now, I'd say the odds are 20-80.
Oh, that's ridiculous. You're gonna win on your closing speech alone, you know. I can see it all now. Another Emile Zola.
Well, I better get back and start writing it.
Why, aren't you coming home tonight?
No way. I've got homework till dawn.
How am I gonna go to sleep without those cold feet on my back?
Maybe Mildred could help you out.
Great.
Oh, tomorrow morning I want you to contact Sergeant Enright and show him his list of people.
Jack Porter and Gina Davis. Who are they?
Potential defense witnesses. Jack Porter in particular.
Huh, he works with Naval Services, too. But he doesn't have a rank.
He's a civilian. Gina Davis is his girlfriend. The four of them were together the night of the murder.
And now they've disappeared?
Well, they're away on a camping trip for 3 weeks. I don't know where. Just give that to Enright. He'll know what to do.
All right.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Bell. Thank you.
Is that strong enough, sir?
At this stage, turpentine wouldn't be strong enough.
You don't need coffee, sir. You need some sleep.
What I need is an insight on Lieutenant Donald Corbett. How does the all-American boy end up trying to rape somebody?
I'd like to talk to you, Commander.
you need me, sir, I'll be outside.
Well, you've got quite a mess on your hands. Why go through with it?
What's on your mind?
Well, let's face it, Commander. You've got a weak case. The lady invited seduction. So where's the self-defense?
That's propaganda. You talking about a plea bargain?
No. The defense looks for the deal. All I try to do is sell it to the convening authority. But if you wanted your murder charge knocked down to manslaughter, I might be willing to cooperate. All you have to do is plead guilty.
That's all?
Lady gets 5 years and a dismissal. And you're off the hook.
The lady gets 5 years in prison and gets booted out of the Navy. I get to keep my pride, and you get your case on a nice silver platter. You're generous to a fault.
I'm dealing from strength.
You're dealing from an excess of self-esteem, Commander. I'll talk to the lady. It's her decision. But if she takes my advice, the answer's no.
Suit yourself, Commander.
If you ask my advice, the answer's no.
I don't know. Maybe I should.
Sure, if you set out to murder him. But you didn't. It was self-defense.
I guess I'm just panicking.
You're just reacting to Campbell's scare tactics. It's cheap intimidation. Don't. Look, kid, I know it isn't going to be easy, but we are going to prove that Corbett attacked you without provocation and placed your life in jeopardy, okay?
That must be Harley again, Commander. Would you mind?
Hello? Oh, yes, Commander. This is Stuart McMillan, Kids Defense Counsel. Well, I'm afraid she's busy right now. Yes, of course I'll tell her. Goodbye. I wish you'd talk to him, kid. I mean, separation or not, he's your husband. And he's concerned.
I can't talk to him or see him right now. I feel so clumsy about everything.
I'll be at my office if you need me.
Commander?
Yes? Yes?
Thanks for everything.
Bye, kid. Thank you.
I just tried again, sir. Still nobody's home.
That's a hard one. I go to court in a couple of hours. My wife's missing, not to mention my housekeeper.
Maybe they just went out shopping, something like that.
Mrs. McMillan, for one, does not rise with the dawn bell.
Commander McMillan's office. Got it, thank you. Time's confirmed, sir. Court convenes at 10:00.
Excuse me, Commissioner. I took the day off. I wouldn't miss this for the world, sir.
Charlie, what did you find out about Jack Porter?
Who? Porter?
Jack Porter. Don't you remember you were supposed to help locate Jack Porter and his girlfriend, Gina Davis, for this trial?
Sir, this is the first I've even heard about it.
Sally didn't contact you at all?
No, sir.
Oh, no. That's what happened to them. Sally and Mildred.
All rise.
The court will now come to order.
This court will now come to order. All right, Catalona, what's this all about?
Well, the accused ran a stop sign north end of Tompkins Bridge, Your Honor.
Mrs. Sally McMillan. How do you plead?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Give him the $2, sweetie.
Who's she?
She is the eyewitness to the supposed perpetration, Your Honor.
What?
She was in the car, Your Honor.
Oh.
If I may be permitted my opening statement at this time, Your Honor. A simple citizen is not on trial here, but rather the entire judicial system.
Mrs. McMillan, will you give him the $2?
The prosecution rests its entire case on the stop sign at the north end of Tompkins Bridge. Now, is that substantially correct?
Substantially.
Well, then by what tangled logic does this misguided public servant put me under arrest? There is no stop sign at the north end of Tompkins Bridge.
She's crazy, Your Honor.
Pay the fine.
I object, Your Honor. That is libel.
If it was anything, it'd be slander, Mrs. McMillan, which it isn't, because that's not what we're here for. You sure about that sign, Sheriff?
I nailed them myself last winter, Your Honor.
Well, then you did a poor job. It's not there now.
Regis, you still got that awful thing with the sawed-off muffler outside?
Yes, sir.
This court hereby appoints you a special committee to check on the sign.
Yes, sir.
You both from San Francisco?
Yes, sir.
You're a little off the beaten path.
Yes, sir.
Vacationing?
No, Your Honor, actually, we're looking for someone. Maybe you might be able to help us. It's a Mr. Jack Porter.
He's, traveling with a friend, Your Honor, if you know what I mean. Gina Davis.
I thought they were married.
You know them? Maybe you could help us find them. It's really important.
Well, sure. I mean, he was riding with the grocery store. I believe that's his Jeep out there. As a matter of fact, they're coming there right now.
Your Honor, do you think I could talk with him for a moment?
I suppose so.
Mr. Porter? Jack Porter?
Yeah.
Do you think I could talk with you for a moment?
Okay.
Hi, my name is Sally McMillan. I've been looking all over for you two. Do you know about Don Corbett?
Corbett, yeah. What about him?
He's dead. Listen, I better get back inside.
All right, we'll leave for San Francisco in the morning. Tell your husband we'll be happy to cooperate.
I know he'll appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you, Your Honor.
All right, special committee, what do you find out?
Like the lady said, Your Honor, the sheriff should use bigger nails.
Where'd you get that?
I found it down by the riverbank, Sheriff. It, looks like it fell off the post at the end of the bridge.
I'll take that.
Case dismissed.
Let's get out of here before we end up on the rock pile.
Is this the gun, Lieutenant?
It is, sir. It was lying on the floor near the body of the deceased.
Let the record note that the witness has identified government exhibit number 1. Lieutenant Brownell, let's get back to the call you received. Could you describe the accused's tone of voice over the telephone?
It was kind of a monotone, sir.
Not excited or irrational?
No, sir.
Would it be fair to describe the accused's voice as calm?
Yes, sir, it would.
No further questions. Your witness, Commander.
Lieutenant Brownell, after entering Lieutenant Boone's house that night, did you speak to her?
Yes, sir, I did.
Could you describe her tone of voice then?
That was about how she looked, sir. Kind of dazed.
Would you call it a monotone?
Yes, sir, I believe you could.
Did she slur any of her words?
No, sir.
Could you describe her voice as calm?
Yes, sir, I believe you could.
The same calm and rational voice you heard over the telephone?
Yes, sir.
And yet you describe her voice and her appearance when you spoke to her in person as dazed. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Then, in your opinion, her voice was dazed when she called you in the security office. Is that correct?
I guess so, sir.
Thank you, Lieutenant. That's all.
Hey, beautiful. How was that for neat lawyering? Oh, excuse me, miss. When I said beautiful, I didn't mean that you were beautiful. I meant that he... not that you're not... Excuse me.
Mr. Seelig, you are the manager of the Officers Club at this station?
Yes, sir, I am.
You were working at the club on the night of Lieutenant Corbett's death?
I was.
Did you see Lieutenant Corbett and Lieutenant Boone at the club that evening?
Yes, sir, they were there.
How did they act toward each other, Mr. Seelig? Casual? Indifferent?
Anything but. I mean, the way they were dancing together, real close. For my money, it was kind of embarrassing.
What else about Lieutenant Boone and Lieutenant Corbett attracted your attention, Mr. Seelig?
Well, at one point, they moved off the dance floor into this kind of dark area, and they kissed.
A fraternal kiss?
No, sir, anything but. Me, I'd call it an X-rated kiss.
A passionate kiss?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Seelig, wasn't it possible that Lieutenant Corbett forced Lieutenant Boone off the dance floor? Forced his attentions on her?
No, sir. From what I could see, the lady was giving as good as she got.
And did they go beyond the kiss?
Well, no, sir, not right there, but for my money, a kiss like that in public means all the way in private.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained. The witness will confine himself to answering the questions.
Your witness, Commander.
Mr. Seelig, are you married?
Yes, sir.
And prior to your marriage, I presume you courted more than one young lady?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever kiss any of these young ladies?
Yes, sir.
Passionately?
Yes, sir.
X-rated?
Well, yes, sir, I guess so.
And did you have affairs with every one of these X-rated young ladies?
Objection, Your Honor. Irrelevant. The witness's premarital sexual prowess has no bearing on this case.
Your Honor, the witness has inferred that the accused's participation in a kiss constituted an invitation for seduction. I'd like to prove it otherwise.
Objection overruled.
Mr. Seelig, did you have affairs with all these young women?
No, sir.
Well, isn't it possible, then, that the accused, along with some of your young lady friends, was willing to enter into an X-rated kiss without inviting her partner to go all the way?
I guess so.
Could you speak a little louder, sir?
I guess so.
Thank you.
You're not eating your sandwich, sir.
Well, I'm not very hungry.
Because of the trial? Sir, you're doing so very well. I think you're fantastic.
It's too early in the first quarter. No score, just a lot of razzle-dazzle on both sides. But they've got Naaman.
Commander! Commander! Commander,
What is
your wife is on the phone.
Where is she?
She's out of town somewhere, sir. I heard the coins dropping in the machine.
Sally, where are you?
Mac, I've got the most terrific news for you.
Is Mildred with you?
Of course.
Are you all right?
We're fine.
I told you to send Enright out to look for Porter.
That's the good news. We found Jack Porter and Gina Davis. They said they're going to head back down there tomorrow.
Ah. And the bad news?
Bad news?
The bad news.
Well, I mean, if you could call a transmission bad news.
How bad?
Oh, not really that bad. The station manager says you ought to be able to have it fixed up good as new. And not really that much either.
How much?
$275.
How long?
Well, he says it shouldn't take more than a couple of days.
Where are you?
Well, we decided to take the back road. We're in the cutest little town about an hour north of San Francisco. The only trouble is that the bus doesn't leave out of here till tomorrow morning.
All right, give me the details. I'll see if I can find somebody to pick you up.
Captain Emerson, you had dinner at the Officers' Club on the night of Lieutenant Corbett's death. Is that correct?
It is.
Lieutenant Boone and the deceased, Lieutenant Corbett, were at a nearby table with another couple. Is that correct?
It is.
Sir, would you describe Lieutenant Boone's behavior that evening?
Indiscreet would be a kind word.
In your opinion, then, would you say that Lieutenant Boone exhibited a loose pattern of behavior?
I would. Her conduct was unbecoming a naval officer.
Thank you, Captain. No further questions.
Captain Emerson, you condemned Lieutenant Boone's behavior that night, yet you failed to mention Lieutenant Corbett. Now, doesn't it still take two to tango?
A man responds to a woman's signals, Commander.
You mean it couldn't be the other way around?
A naval officer would not behave that way in public unless he was incited, Commander.
Sir, Lieutenant Boone is a Navy officer.
But she's a woman.
Oh, I see what you mean. She couldn't help being a woman first and an officer second.
You want to say it that way? Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Is that it?
Oh, yes, that's it.
Friendly? They were a lot more than friendly. See, I waited on their table at the club, so I kind of had a front row seat.
Would you say that Lieutenant Boone and Lieutenant Corbett were openly affectionate?
Like a couple of puppies. Corbett's hands were roaming, and the lady wasn't putting up that much of a fight.
During the course of the evening, while you were serving drinks, Miss Farrell, did you overhear any of their conversation?
Yes, I did.
What did you overhear, Miss Farrell?
Well, at one point, I heard Lieutenant Corbett lean over and say, let's get out of here and go get a room and lock ourselves up for a couple of days.
Did you hear Lieutenant Boone's reaction?
I sure did. She said, why waste the money, Don? Why don't you just move into my place?
Thank you, Miss Farrell. Your witness, Commander.
Miss Farrell, have you ever been propositioned?
Once or twice.
Outrageously?
Well, I'm not quite sure what kind of proposition you're talking about.
Oh, the kind of proposition you don't take seriously. For example, somebody comes into the club and suggests you could run away with him to the South Seas. You know he's married, he's joking. That kind of outrageous proposition. Sound familiar?
It sure does.
Are you insulted?
No, I'm not insulted.
Annoyed?
No.
But you do put them in their place.
Oh, it's not a question of putting them in their place. I mean, not if they're not serious to begin with.
So you go along with the joke. Someone says, hey, Terry, let's run away to a South Sea island. You answer, sure, when do we leave? Sound familiar?
It sure does.
Friendly sarcasm.
Yeah.
Miss Farrell, when Lieutenant Corbett suggested taking a room for a few days, Lieutenant Boone answered by saying, why waste the money? Why don't we move into my place? Wasn't she, in fact, responding with friendly sarcasm to an outrageous proposition?
Oh. Well, that was different. She...
Thank you, Miss Farrell. No more questions.
You better step down, Miss Farrell. The hour is late. We'll recess until tomorrow.
All rise.
See you in the morning, kid.
I saw the last few minutes, sir. You were really good. I think you got him worried.
Yeah. About as worried as a barracuda. One of these sessions he's gonna move in and tear me to pieces.
Lieutenant Reese, you double dated with Lieutenant Corbett on 3 separate occasions, is that right?
That's right.
Did you ever personally observe Lieutenant Corbett make advances to the young ladies that he dated?
Oh, yes.
And did you detect anything dangerous in these advances? The actions of a sexual psychopath?
Objection, Your Honor. The witness is hardly qualified to discuss the psychological aspects of Lieutenant Corbett.
Sustained.
How did the women react to Lieutenant Corbett?
They liked him.
Oh? They didn't fear for their physical well-being?
No.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Lieutenant Reese, earlier you mentioned that you double dated with Lieutenant Corbett on 3 separate occasions. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And was Lieutenant Corbett accompanied by the same young lady each time?
No, sir. He dated the same girl on 2 of those occasions.
2 different young ladies in all?
Yes, sir.
Did he know these young ladies well?
Pretty well, sir.
Well enough to be having affairs with them?
Objection, Your Honor. Irrelevant.
Your Honor, trial counsel himself has anticipated the defense. It is he who placed the sexual mores of the accused at issue in this trial. Would he now deny me the right to cross-examine on an issue of his making?
Overruled. The witness may answer the question.
Lieutenant Reese?
Yes, sir. I believe he was having affairs with them.
He told you as much?
Yes, sir.
Lieutenant Reese, earlier you indicated the 2 young ladies who dated Lieutenant Corbett were comfortable with him, that they in no way feared for their well-being. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Well, Lieutenant Reese, why in the world would they be frightened of Lieutenant Corbett's sexual advances, when in fact they already had been intimate with him?
I don't know, sir.
Thank you, Lieutenant Reese. No more questions?
May it please the court, the government now calls Joanne Nelson to the stand.
Objection, Your Honor. The defense has not received notification of this government witness.
Commander Campbell?
The government has only recently secured this witness, Your Honor. Notification of intention was forwarded to defense counsel yesterday afternoon. I can only surmise that it's been delayed in channels.
Either that or the trial counsel hoped the witness would be admitted without challenge.
Is the defense counsel calling me a liar?
That's enough, gentlemen. You will direct your remarks to the court and not to each other. In view of the circumstances, this court is adjourned until such time as the defense counsel can properly examine the witness.
All rise.
Well, he sure pulled a fast one, didn't he?
Just as annoyed at myself. I couldn't locate Joanne Nelson. Campbell did. We could talk to her.
I like Don. I liked him very much. We didn't get to know each other too well, just a few months, but I had the feeling that we had a relationship and that it might develop into something even stronger. But now he's dead. I still can't believe it.
Miss Nelson, has Commander Campbell instructed you at all?
He instructed me. I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, I mean, has he discussed particular questions and possible responses from you as a witness?
Except for a few moments this morning. The only contact I've had with Commander Campbell has been by telephone, when he located me back east and asked me to return for the trial.
Well, thank you, Miss Nelson.
Well, then, you dated Lieutenant Corbett half a dozen times or more. Is that right, Miss Nelson?
Yes, that's right.
What did you do on these dates, Miss Nelson?
Well, we went to the movies once or twice. We had dinner out, that sort of thing.
Did you and Lieutenant Corbett have an affectionate relationship?
Well, I suppose we were normally affectionate for the amount of time we knew each other.
Held hands?
Yes.
Kissed?
Yes.
Embraced, caressed each other from time to time?
Yes.
Was Lieutenant Corbett an aggressive companion, Miss Nelson?
Well, yes, but not in a serious way.
Could you explain that?
Well, Don, Lieutenant Corbett, was the sort of person who was familiar with people right from the start. I suppose the things he said and did might have been a little, well, unsettling coming from somebody else, but coming from Don, you accepted them.
And Lieutenant Corbett, being Lieutenant Corbett, I suppose he made more than one proposition the very first night you met.
Yes, sir, he did.
Did you accept him, Miss Nelson?
No.
You didn't encourage him at all?
No.
Didn't you and Lieutenant Corbett have an affair, Miss Nelson?
No, we did not.
Why not?
Because I didn't want to.
You refused his advances?
Yes, that's correct.
Are you trying to say that he never once managed to maneuver you into a compromising situation?
No.
Miss Nelson, are you trying to tell this court that the same man who propositioned you countless times over half a dozen different evenings never once succeeded in forcing himself upon you?
No!
Well, thank you, Miss Nelson. Your witness, Commander.
No questions.
We didn't do too well on that one, did we?
Well, he can't even cross-examine her without making it worse.
Your Honor, the government rests.
Very well. I think that does it for today. Court stands in recess until 0800 tomorrow morning.
The Fresh Fish and Pizza restaurant?
Mildred thinks it's good. Speaking of Mildred, she and Sergeant Enright ought to be here pretty soon.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
I need this.
You look so down.
I took a beating today.
I know. Joanne Nelson.
Campbell used her like a booby trap. I saw it coming.
Oh, well, that was today. Tomorrow you start your defense. You're gonna run over him like a tank.
Some tank. How do I prove self-defense?
I seem to recall something about reasonable doubt. They're the ones that have to prove murder.
Thank you, loyal cheering section. I really must go. I'll grab a couple of sandwiches on the way.
Mac. You rat! All this going on and you remembered our anniversary.
Why, he wouldn't forget no matter how busy he was, would you, Commissioner?
That's great.
Sit. I'll take that.
I really have to be going. I'll grab
Commissioner,
a
I
slice.
think you better sit until this little celebration has run its course. Excuse me. Oh.
Commander Boone, you and your wife were married for 5 years prior to your separation. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Would you describe your wife as a fun-loving person? Like to go out at night, dining, dancing, parties?
Just the opposite. Kit liked her home. She liked to be home.
Would she be inclined to drink a lot?
Seldom drank at all. Had to be an occasion for Kit to take more than 1 or 2 drinks.
Could you describe your wife's character as exemplary?
Without hesitation.
What was her general reputation in the community?
I don't know anyone had a bad word to say about Kit. She was and is an honest, decent person.
Thank you, Commander Boone. Your witness, Commander.
Commander, you and your wife have been separated for the past 2 months, is that correct?
That's correct.
What was the cause for the separation, sir?
Objection, Your Honor. The trial counsel's question exceeds the scope of direct examination.
Overruled.
Why did you and your wife separate, Commander?
We weren't getting along.
Can you be more specific?
She wanted to work to stay in the Navy. I wanted her at home.
Was this a conflict of recent development, Commander?
No. We discussed it from the time we were first married.
Mm-hmm. You work at the supply center, do you not?
I do.
As does your wife.
Yes.
Lieutenant Corbett was also assigned to supply.
Yes.
Is it true that your wife and Lieutenant Corbett worked rather closely together?
I believe so.
The chronology of the situation strikes me as interesting, Commander. For something like 5 years, you and your wife stay together, despite a conflict of interests over whether she should or should not resign from the Navy. Then 3 months ago, Lieutenant Corbett arrives at this station and is assigned to Supply, where his work brings him in close contact with your wife. And then, 2 months ago, you and your wife decide to separate. Isn't it true that the developing relationship between your wife and Lieutenant Corbett contributed to that situation and separation?
That is a lie.
Is it not true, Commander Boone, that your wife had already made a romantic relationship with Lieutenant Corbett weeks before she killed him?
No!
No further questions.
Yes, sir. I've known Kit Boone for quite some time. And she was different that night. Now, by that I mean, Kit is a very private person. She works on dignity. And it must have been something very special to make her act that way.
You mean something upsetting?
Yes, sir, I think so.
Would you have any idea what that might be?
Yes, sir, I think I do. I believe she was upset over her separation from Commander Boone.
But they'd already been separated for several months. Why would she pick this particular evening to be upset?
Well, I think it just finally caught up to her. Those were very rough months on Kit.
After leaving the officers' club that evening, Lieutenant Boone and Lieutenant Corbett accompanied you and Miss Davis to your home. Is that correct?
Yes.
What was her behavior at your home? Was she equally outgoing?
No, by the time we got to my place, she was fairly quiet.
Was she intoxicated?
No, sir.
What was her attitude toward Lieutenant Corbett by then?
She was cool, on top of the situation. She was back to being Kit.
And how long did they stay at your home, Mr. Porter?
Well, let's see. They went for a dip while I packed. All in all, they were at my place about an hour.
Thank you, Mr. Porter. No more questions. Your witness, Commander.
Mr. Porter, you and Miss Davis aren't married.
No.
Nonetheless, Miss Davis shares your residence with you, does she not?
Yes.
How long have you been living in this state, Mr. Porter?
Objection, Your Honor. Irrelevant.
Sustained.
Mr. Porter, wouldn't you say the nights get pretty chilly this time of year?
Yes, I would say that.
And yet your guests took a late night dip in your pool. Did they bring their ice skates?
I keep my pool heated.
Uh-huh. Then they brought along their swimsuits.
I don't think so.
Oh? Oh, well, then you and Miss Davis provided them with swimsuits. Isn't that right?
I don't believe so.
Mr. Porter, you did see Lieutenant Boone and Lieutenant Corbett in your pool, did you not?
Yes.
And they were properly attired, were they not?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
No.
You don't remember if their clothes were soaking wet when they left your house, Mr. Porter?
No.
In actual fact, they were swimming in the nude, weren't they, Mr. Porter?
I don't know.
In actual fact, the accused thought no more of swimming in the nude with Lieutenant Corbett than she did of spending the night with him in her own home.
Objection.
Overruled.
Kit!
Kid.
Excuse us. What happened back at that pool? Were you in the nude?
Yes. But nothing happened. We took off our clothes and jumped in the pool. It doesn't mean we made love that night.
I believe you. It's just that the way it came out back there doesn't do us much good. It's gonna be all right. I saw Hardy back there. Why won't you talk to him?
I don't know. I guess I'm just not ready.
Still in love with him, aren't you? Am I in your way?
Boy, this is better than a porno movie.
What do you think of Kit Boone?
Oh, she's a lovely girl, except for that one little blight on her record. Murder.
You're not much help.
Kit Boone wouldn't hurt a fly unless provoked by an extreme case of aggravated assault.
That's absolutely right. The defendant exercised nothing more than reasonable and prudent force in protecting herself against the infliction of grievous bodily harm.
Very good. You two may take over. I'm gonna take a shower.
Mildred, what are you making for breakfast?
Bacon and eggs.
Ah, that's what I smell. The bacon.
The bacon is burning.
Hello? No, I'm sorry, I can't come to the phone. He just got in the shower. Maybe I can help you. What? Hold on a second. Okay.
$1.89 a pound. You should be ashamed of yourself.
You sure about that? Okay, well, I sure appreciate all the help you've given me. Yeah, okay, if we're ever out that way, right. Okay, bye-bye.
Who's that?
That was the caretaker at the Pleasant View Cemetery in Grinnell, Iowa.
He called you?
No, I called him. Before that, I called the record section at the base, and before that, Joanne Nelson called you, but you were in the shower and couldn't talk, so I just took it upon myself to do a little investigating.
A little investigating of what?
Well, it's really kind of strange. Joanne Nelson wanted to send some flowers to Lieutenant Corbett's grave. So she called the record section at the base and she asked where he was buried. And they told her he was buried in his hometown, Grinnell, Iowa. So when she went to send the flowers, they told her no such person was buried there. That's why she called you. She thought maybe you would know where he was buried.
Which I don't.
Well, that's what I figured. So I took it upon myself to call the record section at the base and do a little double checking.
Using my name as your authority, of course.
Oh, naturally. You know what they told me? The same Pleasant View Cemetery in the same Grinnell, Iowa.
The caretaker of said establishment you then took upon yourself to call. Long distance.
Mac, Joanne Nelson was right. Lieutenant Corbett is not buried there. You know what the caretaker said? He said he's never heard of a Corbett family living in Grinnell, Iowa. Now, he ought to know, don't you think?
Probably just a clerical error.
I think it's kind of strange, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Sorry, Commander. Can't do a thing for you without some kind of authorization.
The shipment of a body is not exactly a military secret. Now, what's the problem?
I just can't release that information without an okay from the senior medical officer, sir.
Who's away for the weekend?
Sorry, sir.
I don't know if he's a fanatic for regulations or he's hiding something.
It doesn't matter because I've got it.
What?
I've got the information you were looking for.
Huh?
Lieutenant Corbett's body was shipped to a federal cemetery in Langston, sir. Well, I just peeked at a few clipboards, that's all.
Pretty sneaky.
Hey, Mac. Sally. What's up, Mac?
I don't know how I got involved in all this, sir, but I seem to be looking for a body. Do you happen to know where Lieutenant Corbett is buried?
Some small town in Iowa, isn't it?
According to his records, yes, sir. He's not buried there.
Well, it's probably some paperwork foul up. I'm sorry I can't help you. Good to see you, Sally. Take it easy, Mac.
Fine officer. Lousy liar.
He didn't even ask you why you were looking for Lieutenant Corbett's grave.
He's covering up something. So is everybody else. Corbett was stationed in San Diego before he was stationed here. Let's go down to San Diego.
Okay. Oh, shoot. Excuse me. What'd you find out?
I checked with the base supply officer, Captain Faraday. Corbett worked for Faraday.
Ooh, that's progress.
Not really. Faraday never met Corbett.
I don't understand.
Corbett was listed on supplies personnel roster, but on detached duty status.
Detached to where?
I checked with records, I checked with personnel. They don't know a thing.
What does that mean?
It could mean that Corbett was never stationed on this base.
Well, all of this makes absolutely no sense at all.
I have one more stop to make. Are you okay here?
Sure.
What's the score?
14-3.
Oh.
Him.
Oh.
Ready?
Here it is, sir. Lieutenant Donald Corbett, 15-16 July.
Listed as a transient. Do you remember it all?
Sorry, sir, I wasn't even working here last July.
Thank you.
Sir? Major Antonio.
How do you do?
Hi. I knew Corbett back in Hawaii, and the last I heard, he was in San Francisco. Well, you might check up there.
Don Corbett is dead.
How did it happen?
A shooting accident. How well did you know him?
Pretty well. We roomed together.
Who was he working for back in Hawaii? Major, it's important. I'm investigating his murder.
Well, I don't suppose it matters much now. Corbett was with NIS, Naval Investigative Service.
May I have a word with you, sir?
Oh, Mac, I want you to meet George Pauling. George, this is Commander McMillan.
How do you do?
How are you?
Sir, if you have a minute.
Sit down. Mac, as a matter of fact, George and I were just talking about you.
I think you might like to hear what I have to say.
George can hear anything you have to say.
Very well. I'd like to know why I've been kept in the dark about Lieutenant Corbett. Why didn't you tell me he was at the NIS?
I know that you went down to San Diego, Commander. I didn't know you'd got that far.
George is the head of the NIS here on the base, Mac.
I don't know whether I'm a rabbit or a dog, but I want an explanation.
Corbett was with the NIS, of course. We brought him down here to investigate a series of burglaries at the base over the past year. We put him in supply because someone there in supply was feeding the thieves with precise information. Bills of lading, warehousing locations, arrival dates, methods of shipment.
How did my client come into this? Is she a suspect?
One of several.
Is that why Corbett was dating her? Mm-hmm. Then you think she was working with the thieves. Found out Corbett was with the NIS and murdered him.
That's what it looks like, Commander.
But you're not sure?
Corbett contacted me a couple of days before he was killed. He said that he was zeroing in on the informer. I have to assume that he was talking about Lieutenant Boone.
Then, gentlemen, you got nothing. Unless Lieutenant Boone loses the case. Then what you'll have is somebody to squeeze. Dangle a prison sentence over her head until she tells all the people involved.
You're in the business, Commissioner. What would you do?
I'm not in that business. And right now, I'm the defense counsel. Is that why you put me up against somebody like Campbell, to make sure she'd lose?
Come on, Mac. The situation is all fouled up, but there's no conspiracy involved.
Is there another name for it?
I want to make one thing straight, Mac. Before you came on the scene, I made the usual option for Campbell. Government or defense. He chose trial counsel because he always chooses TC. And if you're pushing conspiracy, just chew on the fact that Campbell doesn't know what you know about Corbett.
I'm sorry.
Sustained. Oh, everything's all messed up around here, Mac.
NIS thinks she killed him because she was involved in the burglaries. There's also the possibility that she knew nothing of the burglaries and that she indeed killed him in self-defense. Now, how do I defend her?
Go straight down the line with her, Mac. Play it like this meeting here never took place. It's the only way.
Let me repeat that, Commander. As far as government security is concerned, this meeting never took place.
We are not supposed to mangle justice. We're supposed to preserve it. You two have your jobs. I have mine. And right now, I'm going to defend my client. If I have to repeat every word from this meeting.
Commander McMillan?
Yes?
Sir, my name is Louis Nunez. I'm the bartender here.
Yes?
Sir, I've been to trial several times. And each time I thought I should talk to you.
Go on.
Well, I was here that night, sir. And I saw something at the trial that no one mentioned.
Saw something? The night of the murder?
Yes, sir. I saw Commander Boone here in the club. He and Lieutenant Boone were having a terrible argument. He was furious, shouting at her. But she didn't say anything. She was trying not to cry. And then the commander hit his wife, sir. Very hard across the face. Lieutenant Corbett came over and tried to be a gentleman, but he was drunk. So the commander just pushed him aside and left.
Luis, would it be all right if I got back to you?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Well, did you find Captain Stiles?
I certainly did.
What'd you say about Corbett being involved with Navy intelligence?
He affirmed it. And there's a lot more.
Mac, for the first time in my life, I am more tired than I am curious. You can just tell me about it in the morning. Home, James.
Sally.
No.
Just one more stop, I promise.
No.
Then I'll tell you about the argument.
What argument?
There wasn't any argument. You must be mistaken.
Oh, kid, somebody saw the two of you. Saw Harley haul off and smack you in the mouth.
It's too complex.
Go ahead.
No, you don't know. You don't understand. It's too complicated. It's too difficult. Oh, well. I knew I'd have to tell you sooner or later, though.
Tell me what?
I lied to you. I lied to everybody. It didn't happen the way you think. After Don and I got back to the house that night, he did make a few passes, but he didn't attack me. Even if it was in his nature, he was too tired. He said he'd only had one drink, but it must have hit him pretty hard. He fell asleep on the sofa. I tried to awaken him, but it was useless. There wasn't anything else to do, so I went into my bedroom, got into my nightgown, and went to sleep. Must have been an hour or so later. I was fast asleep, and then there was a noise, like a car backfiring. When I went into the living room, Don was on the floor. He'd been shot, and a man was running out the front door. A man in a uniform, a Navy officer. It was Harley.
Why didn't you bring this out before?
Remember you said I still loved him?
Of course I do.
I do. Oh, Mac, he was so desperately jealous of Don. That's why he came to the club that night. That's why he was so furious with me. Don't you see, in a way, I am responsible for Don Corbett's death. That's why I wanted to protect Harley. He killed him for me.
So you decide to take the blame. You take off your nightgown, you put on your uniform, tear it up a little bit, mess up this living room, put fingerprints on the gun.
Don was dead. Nothing could hurt him anymore. And I thought if I cried rape, well, at least I could protect Harley.
Don't you realize you're protecting a murderer?
Yes, it was tearing me apart. That's why I couldn't face him.
Sally, I know how tired you are, but I've got to make one.
Mac. Why are we stopping?
Just waiting for the light to change.
Saw Kit. Said all the wrong things. Acted about as stupidly as a jealous husband could act.
Thank you.
I slapped her. I'm less proud of that than anything that's ever happened between us. So, I don't blame her if she doesn't want to see me anymore, if that answers your question.
Kit says there's a lot more to it than that. A lot more. She says you killed Don Corbett. She's changed her story, Commander. No rape attempt. No self-defense. She said she caught a glimpse of a man running out the door. She says it was you.
That is incredible. Why would she say something like that?
I thought you might know.
I don't know. The whole thing is an insane lie. Why would she say something like that? Why would she do that? Does she hate me that much?
According to Kit, it's the other way around. Took the blame to protect you.
Until now, suddenly she's stopped protecting me. Is that right?
She claims she can't live with it any longer.
No, it's got to be the trial. She must figure she doesn't have a chance. Came up with this wild story.
Maybe.
Now, none of this makes any sense. Kit, pulling the trigger on that thing, killing another human being. She hated that gun. Wouldn't even let me put bullets in it.
Hey.
Oh, Mac, I've got to get some sleep.
Sleep? You've been asleep for 10 hours.
That all? What are you doing here? You're supposed to be at court.
I worked out a continuance until tomorrow morning. So I want you to close those little eyes and get some rest. I'll be gone all day. Mildred will be gone all day, and the house will be nice and quiet.
What's Mildred doing?
She's Out with Enright. They're doing a little job for me.
What kind of a job?
Just checking gun shops, sporting goods stores. We're splitting San Francisco between us. Well, I gotta go. I don't want you to move all day from that bed, you hear? What kept you?
Gun shops? What are we gonna be looking for in gun shops?
Bullets.
Bullets? We've got a whole box of them in the dresser drawer.
Not anymore. I ate the last one this morning.
Hi.
Any luck?
Oh, no, sir. That's all bad. I was counting on you.
Well, it's been an interesting day, but what was it all about?
It's an idea I had.
You see, Mildred, we're trying to find anybody who might have bought .35 caliber shells.
And you couldn't find any with all the bullets they sell in this country?
35 calibers an odd size. Not very many guns use them.
Lieutenant Corbett was killed with a .35 caliber. It's a French Dardanelle.
Ariel, Sally, and Belgium.
Well, the day wasn't a total loss. I saved $500 not buying everything I tried on.
That basis, Sally had an even better day.
Yeah, Denison's must be great. They're twice as large as anybody else.
I don't know. We didn't go to Denison's.
Oh.
Did you cover Denison's?
I thought it was on your list.
Not here.
Not here either.
I'll see you back at the house.
Have you got any money?
Not a dime.
Brian Mosley. Who's Brian Mosley?
I don't know, sir. Sounds familiar, though. Brian Mosley. Wait a minute. Does the name Benny Carr mean anything to you, sir?
Sure. Small-time loser.
He's Brian Mosley. That's one of the half-dozen aliases that Benny Carr uses.
Do you think you can put your hands on him?
I think so, sir.
Let's go.
Hey, come on, come on. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm not just talking about a parole violation, Benny.
You come on, Benny. One of those bullets killed somebody.
And what are you trying to pull? I never used a piece of my life.
If you didn't do it, then you better start talking.
All right. I bought these .35 calibers. Some guy I never seen before gave me $50 to pick them up. So he made me an easy 50. That's all I know.
You must be getting old, Benny. You don't even lie good.
Come on, Benny. We're waiting.
Vince Wagner. But I don't know what he used them for. I swear it.
Vince Wagner. Isn't he in the grand theft business?
The last I heard, sir.
Yeah. I got on she's pretty busy these days. What about it, Benny?
How would I know? I told you.
He's been knocking off the Navy at Treasure Island, isn't that right? Sure, you know all about it. Look at the look on his face. I bet you've been in on some of those jobs.
Hey, give me a break, will you? Something for something. What do you say?
Go on.
Maybe I've been in on one job. I swear it. One job.
Something for something, Benny.
Wagner's gonna pull off another one. Tonight.
Sir, he should have been here almost an hour ago.
How reliable is that man you picked up?
Carr is very unreliable. I just hope he was scared enough to tell the truth.
It's cold enough to freeze meat in here.
Mac.
There.
All right, police, drop your guns. You're covered.
You're under arrest.
Ten more minutes and the old man's gonna blow his top.
Think he's up to something?
McMillan? I think he got smart. Took off for Alaska.
Your Honor, I'm Sally McMillan, and my husband asked me to tell you that he'll be arriving shortly, and he regrets any inconvenience to the court.
Would it be presumptuous to ask where Commander McMillan is right now?
No, Your Honor, it wouldn't be presumptuous. It's just that it might be a little bit embarrassing. He's in the men's room putting on his uniform.
My apologies, Your Honor. I've been unavoidably detained.
The next time this happens, Commander, you will be unavoidably charged with contempt. This court will come to order.
All persons present when court recessed are now present, Your Honor.
All right, Commander. You may proceed with your case.
Thank you, Your Honor. The defense calls Lieutenant Catherine Boone to the stand.
You said I wasn't going to have to testify.
Trust me.
Do you swear that the evidence you shall give in the case now in hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please give your full name, rank, organization, and armed force.
Lieutenant Catherine Boone, Naval Station, San Francisco, United States Navy.
Are you the accused in this case?
Yes, sir.
Lieutenant Boone, is it true that you and Lieutenant Corbett were alone in your house the night he was shot?
Yes, sir, that's true.
And is it also true that he was quite drunk?
Yes, sir.
So drunk that he fell asleep on the sofa in your living room?
Yes, sir.
So drunk that he never threatened you, never attacked you? In fact, the need for self-defense never arose?
Yes, sir, that's true.
And isn't it also true that you did not shoot and you did not kill Lieutenant Corbett?
Yes, sir, that's true.
What's he trying to pull?
I don't know. But I think I'll just let him hang himself.
What was that all about?
I don't know. But I'm sure Mac knows what he's doing.
He does?
Commander McMillan, are you aware that your new line serves to undercut the case you've put for the defense?
Yes, Your Honor, I am. However, let me assure the court that this new line of questioning is dictated by newly found evidence and not due to the incompetence of the defense.
Very well.
Your witness, Commander.
Now, let me see if I've got this straight, Lieutenant. You are now saying that Lieutenant Corbett did not attack you on the evening in question?
Yes, sir.
Did not attack you. Does that mean that he did not intimidate you in any way?
Yes, sir. He did not.
Did not threaten you?
He did not.
You had no fear for your physical well-being?
None, sir.
And you did not shoot Lieutenant Corbett?
I did not shoot him, sir.
Then if you did shoot Lieutenant Corbett, it was not because you were defending yourself. Is that correct?
If I had shot Lieutenant Corbett, it might have been because I was defending myself. But I did not shoot him.
No further questions?
Recall Jack Porter to the stand.
Yes, I've known Commander Boone for some time.
Prior to his separation from the accused?
Yes, I've been acquainted with both Commander Boone and his wife for some years.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Porter, would you describe Commander Boone as a man with a jealous nature?
I suppose so, yes.
Subject to fits of rage?
Well, we're all subject to fits of rage on occasion.
I'm talking about Commander Boone, Mr. Porter. Is he a man subject to fits of rage?
I suppose so, yes.
Mr. Porter, did you happen to witness an argument between Commander Boone and his wife in the officers' club the night Lieutenant Corbett was shot?
Yes, I did.
In fact, wasn't it a one-sided argument? A fit of rage on the part of Commander Boone?
Yes, I suppose so.
And isn't it true that this fit of rage was caused by Commander Boone's jealousy of Lieutenant Corbett?
Yes.
And isn't it true that Commander Boone climaxed his argument by slapping his wife across the face?
Yes, that's true.
And isn't it true that Lieutenant Corbett, arriving at the end of the argument, attempted to interfere on Lieutenant Boone's behalf and was roughly shoved aside by her husband?
Yes, that's true.
Mr. Porter, if I were to tell you that Lieutenant Boone did not shoot Lieutenant Corbett, that she indeed had been lying in order to protect somebody, who do you suppose that would be?
I don't know. I'm not sure what you're getting at, Commander.
I'm getting at the fact that someone other than Lieutenant Boone murdered Lieutenant Corbett. No accident, no self-defense, just murder. Who do you suppose that would be?
I don't know.
Oh, I think you do, Mr. Porter. When Lieutenant Boone heard the shot, she rushed out of her bedroom into the living room, just in time to see the killer running out the door. A man wearing the uniform of a Navy commander. A man wearing steel-rimmed glasses. A man of a jealous nature. A man subject to fits of rage. Who do you suppose she saw?
You mean Harley Boone really killed Corbett?
That will be quite enough. Let me admonish those attending this court as spectators. If there are any further outbursts, I will clear this room.
Commander McMillan. Mr. Porter, when I asked you who you thought Lieutenant Boone was protecting, you mentioned a name. Would you repeat that name, please?
I said Harley Boone. I also said that I could not believe that he killed Corbett.
I can understand your incredulity, Mr. Porter. The fact is, Lieutenant Boone only thought she saw her husband because that's the way it looked to her. Actually, you killed him. You killed Corbett because you knew he was more than a supply officer. You knew he was an officer of the Naval Investigative Service, and you knew he was onto you. Onto the fact that you were supplying information to a ring of thieves who had been victimizing the Navy for over a year. For days, you've been waiting for the right opportunity to kill Corbett. A murder that would clearly implicate Harley Boone, the same jealous husband who created something of a scene earlier that same evening at the Officers Club. With your friend, Miss Davis, fast asleep back at your own house, you drove to Kit Boone's house and waited. Soon enough, the lights went out. And you waited some more. You knew Kit Boone well enough to remember that she kept a spare key in the mailbox. Getting in was no problem at all. Corbett wasn't a big drinker. He told Kit himself he'd only had one drink. But since you drugged the one he did have, you weren't surprised at all to find him passed out on the sofa. You went right ahead with your plans. As a gun fancier, you examined Harley Boone's souvenir pistol more than once. You knew it was still kept in the desk in the living room. You also knew it was kept empty. But that wasn't a problem either, because you brought your own bullets. All you had to do now was kill Lieutenant Corbett in his sleep. And then wait a few seconds until Kit Boone came running out and saw you leaving. Of course, Kit Boone didn't know it was you. Dressed as you were in the uniform of a Navy commander, wearing steel-framed glasses, she thought it was her husband rushing out of the house. Later, the situation took an unexpected turn, didn't it, Mr. Porter? Lieutenant Boone decided to take the blame for Corbett's death in order to protect her husband. But that didn't matter much, did it? You were still in the clear. Somebody else was on the hook.
Commander McMillan, as this is a murder trial, I've allowed you to make these accusations against Mr. Porter. However, at this time, before the witness is required to answer any questions, he must be advised of his rights.
I agree, Your Honor. Mr. Porter should be advised of his rights at the earliest opportunity, inasmuch as he's to be placed under arrest at this time. The base commanding officer has been consulted and has agreed to surrender Mr. Porter to civilian authorities.
Very well. Are such authorities present in this court?
Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to introduce to the court Sergeant Charles Enright of San Francisco Police.
With your permission, Your Honor. Jack Porter, I hereby arrest you on charges of murdering Lieutenant Donald Corbett and on charges of conspiring to grand larceny. It is my duty to tell you that anything you say at this time can be used against you in court.
Under the circumstances, I'm going to grant a continuance until such time as new information concerning this trial has been properly evaluated.
All rise.
Well, kid. You okay? Commander Campbell, I
could have stopped you, Commander. You were so irregular on this that a second-year law student could have shot you down.
But you didn't.
No. There seems to be some faint chance that your client is innocent.
Commander, while you may be lacking in affability, should the city of San Francisco ever find the need for an attorney, you're hired.
Here we are, milk and cookies for our very own William Jennings Bryan.
William Jennings Bryan lost the biggest case of his career.
Well, maybe he can win on appeal.
Thank you.
You know, Mac, what I've been thinking?
Never.
Kit and Harley Boone. Now that she's not on trial for murder, do you think they're gonna get back together?
Harley's already moved back into the house.
Oh, that's great. There is one thing I've been meaning to ask you. That day that we went to all those gun shops all over San Francisco looking for the bullets, what were we looking for?
The killer. You see, Kit mentioned that though her gun was loaded, it had never been fired. Harley Boone said it had never been loaded, so one of them was lying.
And you thought it was Kit, right?
Well, it looked that way. And there was another cloud over her head, besides murder.
Well, yeah, they still suspected her for burglary.
Right, and as it turned out, she was lying to protect Harley. Tracking down those bullets turned out to be a lucky break. They led me to Vince Wagner, the man behind all the burglaries, and he led me to Jack Porter.
Jack Porter didn't buy the bullets because he knew his name would appear on the registration book.
Right.
How did Porter know that Corbett was involved with the NIS?
I was wondering about that myself till a couple of hours ago. Porter broke down and gave his statement. A week before Corbett was murdered, he and Kit went over to Porter's house for a Sunday afternoon barbecue. Porter was in the kitchen mixing a pitcher of sangria. The others were in the pool. The phone rang. It was Vince Wagner. He needed some information that Porter kept under lock and key in his bedroom. Just as he left the kitchen, Corbett wandered in, dripping wet. He was looking for the sangria, but then he must have noticed the phone off the hook. He probably started to hang it up, then couldn't help overhearing some of the conversation. What he overheard must have convinced him that Jack Porter was his man. Corbett took the sangria and went out to join the others. When Porter came back in the kitchen, he spotted the tracks, figured out what had happened, realized that Corbett, the new supply officer, was something else.
And that something else was the NIS. And that's why he was murdered.
Exactly.
You know, Kit Boone and Don Corbett. I know it started out because he wanted to keep an eye on Kit, but I think it was turning into something else, especially on Don's part.
You have the unfailing ability to turn everything into a soap opera. I think he was falling for it, too. Are you still here, Mildred?
Well, yeah, I haven't finished your milk and cookies yet.
Why don't you finish them downstairs?
What about you guys?
Sally and I are going to spend a little time doing what most married couples do.
Oh, we gonna watch television?
Say goodnight, Mildred.
Good night, Mildred.
Good night, Mildred.
Now.
You know, I was looking in the TV guide, and there's this great movie on. Where is it? There it is. King Kong meets Mighty Joe Young. You don't want it.